City of Fresno. Not really a reminder, but better said, I want to tell you for the first time today, before I remind you two more times today, that the current temperature in the city of Fresno, California is 35 degrees. 35 degrees, the current temperature here in the city of Fresno. And the expected high for today is expected to go all the way up to 59 degrees. 59 degrees, the expected high for today. So make sure that you are, of course, taking care of anything that you need to take care of, because the temperatures are going to keep and continue to stay at about this temperature. So again, 35 degrees, the current temperature in the city of Fresno. Tomorrow, you can expect a high of 61, 62 on Thursday, 60 on Friday. You can expect nothing but sunshine the next few days up until this weekend, where we will get cloudy skies once again, some showers on Sunday night into Monday, and we will see some drizzle of rain here and there next week as well, before everything kind of clears back up. So some rain coming back into the San Joaquin Valley, but not until about the weekend. So we should be okay. And it's okay if it happens Sunday afternoon, right? We're all going to be indoors. We're all going to be listening to 1430 ESPN as the AFC and NFC championship games are on, right? Well, the one way you can stay in touch and stay up to date on everything local sports leader, that is social media, Twitter, Instagram, and on Facebook at 1430 ESPN. You can also go and download the app, 1430 ESPN Fresno, 1430 ESPN Fresno. You're going to go to the App Store. You're going to go to Google Play Store. You're gonna just look up 1430 ESPN Fresno. 1430 ESPN Fresno. You're going to go ahead and download the app and be able to listen live, send text messages to the studio. You can also you'll be also be able to not only send text messages to the studio, but you're also going to be able to send emails, send voice texts. It's a bunch of things. You can also send an alarm. There's tons of things to do right there on the app. If you don't have a phone that is capable of downloading the app, or maybe you're like Gonzo, I need us to be friends first. I need us to go on a couple of dates before I commit to downloading anything on my phone. Well, there's a website too, 1430ESPNFresno.com, 1430ESPNFresno.com, and right there you can listen live. See, no commitment. There's no commitment there. You just got to go look up the website. You click on listen live, and it's right there. It's not forcefully on your phone anymore. It's okay. We appreciate however you listen. You can check out the podcast as well on the website. You can hover over the podcast tab, click on the Jose Gonzalez Show, listen to any of the episodes, minutes, seconds, moments, hours, anything you might have missed, conversations. It's all right there on the Jose Gonzalez Show podcast tab. You can also listen to Sportsline, the Bulldog Hour with the man Tony D. You can listen to him Monday through Thursday, 2 to 3, and on Fridays, 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. So make sure to tune in all afternoon, because at 3 p.m. Monday through Thursday, it is Home Field Advantage with Gabe Camarillo. And then on Saturdays, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m., that is Central Valley Sports Report with Paul Metter. So make sure to tune in right here. You can also go to the website as mentioned, and those shows are right there on the podcast tab for all of your listening pleasures. I greatly appreciate every single one of you that does do exactly that. Also want to remind you that the weather report was brought to you by our friends at Lee's Air Plumbing and Heating Maintenance. Get it done. Call them. They will help you and keep you up to date on anything you need on your AC heater unit. Or you can simply call them when something has gone down with your AC heater unit. You'll need it for the next few days, absolutely for the next couple of weeks. If you are someone that gets cold very easily, we'll have a near freezing temperatures over the course of the next week or so at night. So, if you want to turn on that heater, make sure to keep it in maintenance or get it fixed by our friends at Lee's Air Plumbing and Heating. Hour one of the Jose Gonzalez Show is brought to you in part by Helena Agri Enterprises, LLC, the Valley's foremost agronomic solutions provider. People, products, knowledge. Helena Agri Enterprises. Today on the show, we have one guest. He is joining us at about 9:30 this morning, and that is Mike Gill. He is from ESPN New Jersey, also host of the Philadelphia Eagles podcast on the Believe Network. He's going to join us to talk about the Eagles and the Niners battle this Sunday. We're going to talk to him about the Philadelphia Eagles. Not much about the Niners, but more about the Philadelphia Eagles. And then tomorrow, we have someone coming on from Niner Nation. His name is Akash. He's going to be joining us to talk about the San Francisco 49ers and what they will and can do against the Philadelphia Eagles, and that's tomorrow. So today we preview the Eagles, tomorrow we preview the Niners, and then we will dive into both of those on Thursday. So there is some of that list for you. And again, Stephen Haglin joins us tomorrow, as well as Gus joining us on Thursday. Angelique Martinez, KC24, CBS 47, will not be joining us today. She has a prior commitment that she needs to get done, so she is not on the show today. And we have Mike Gill, so a great replacement today for Angelique Martinez, KC24, CBS 47. That about hour number 3, bottom part of hour number 3. Today on the show, we're going to talk a little bit about everything. We're going to go a little bit everywhere today, and I'm actually excited to talk every single sport today. We're talking Major League Baseball to open the show today. We're then going to dive from Major League Baseball into the NBA and talking expansion in the NBA side, as well as kind of dabbling back to Major League Baseball with the terms of what expansion looks like. And then hour 3 will be our NFL hour. We're going to talk about the playoffs, AFC and NFC championship games, but not necessarily about the games, but about the teams that are in the said games. Also, we'll talk a little bit about Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, and those guys. Are they taking too long to walk away from the game? So those are all conversations we'll have today on the show. So appreciate every single one of you for joining us. And a reminder, maybe you can't listen to every single minute and every single hour. That's why we have the podcast for all of you guys, so that you can, if you can't listen to the whole show, go back and listen to it. And look, we love commercials. We absolutely do. But there is no commercials on the podcast. You can go in there and listen to it all commercial free. So appreciate every single one of you that does that, because there are many of you that do. If you want to email me, you can, gonzo at 1430espnfresno.com, or you can send me a direct message at Jose Gonzo Sports, at Jose Gonzo Sports. Appreciate every single one of you that does message me on Twitter. I want to also say congratulations to our team of the month for the month of December. That is Carruthers Girls Basketball. They are our meat market team of the month, and appreciate them. And a big congratulations to them. They have been absolutely dominant in the last few years. They do not lose in league. They are your 1430 ESPN team of the month. Congratulations to Carruthers Girls Basketball. They are absolutely dominant. It is great to see them do what they have been doing. So, with all that being said, producer of the Jose Gonzalez Show, that is just us. Good morning to you, my good sir.
Good morning, Gonzo.
So, let's go over some of the breaking news entering today in the world of sports. And that is that Bill O'Brien is returning to New England and now will be the offensive coordinator of the New England Patriots. Bill Belichick going right back to the well here and bringing Bill O'Brien on. Bill O'Brien had been a part of the offensive coaching staff for the Alabama Crimson Tide under Nick Saban. And we know that many years ago, Bill O'Brien got his start with the New England Patriots. I don't know if Bill O'Brien is a head coach, but I do know that Bill O'Brien has been or was a really good offensive coordinator. He knew how to put his guys in positions to succeed. This is an absolute upgrade on Matt Patricia, Joe Judge, the offensive coordinator. I don't know what they were. No one knew what they were. I don't even think they knew what they were in that system, because Patricia might have called the plays, but Mac Jones wanted to do what Mac Jones wanted to do. So there is a bit of the thought process of saying, hey, man, Bill O'Brien returning to New England, is that a Bill O'Brien trying to become a head coach in the NFL again? Absolutely. He wants to have a job in the NFL again. And here's the caveat. I think he might be a good head coach too. The only thing and the biggest issue that I always had with him at the Houston Texans was not the fact that he was a head coach. To me, it was he was the decision maker on player personnel. If he were to go anywhere to be a head coach again, I think he could win. I think he could be successful. I think that Bill O'Brien could be an average head coach at the worst in the NFL. And that means those guys that win 8, 9 games, 10 games, are around hovering the playoffs, getting in the playoffs, can have 1 or 2 years where they have a really good squad, they overperform, and they get to a championship or a Super Bowl. But you can't have him be the end-all, be-all. You can't have Bill O'Brien be that, because we have seen now, when he has been that, he was not successful. He didn't make the right moves with the Houston Texans and left them in salary cap hell when he was fired. That team was an utter disaster when he got fired. Now they look to rebuild. They look to get back, are the Houston Texans. And now Bill O'Brien is looking to rebuild on his career as well. The Lakers yesterday traded a few second-round picks and Kendrick Nunn for Mr. Hachimura. And this guy could be a big key for the Los Angeles Lakers in stretching the floor. Getting a guy in one of the corners, catch and shoot, shooting above 40%. They already are talking about extending him over the offseason because he is on a rookie contract and he would be a restricted free agent at the end of this season. Does this drastically move the needle for the Los Angeles Lakers? No, it doesn't drastically move the needle, but this is a guy that can defend a little bit better. This is a guy that brings more length. This is a guy that can shoot the ball from the corner, hit a three, do it at a pretty good clip. This is someone that absolutely is improving the Los Angeles Lakers. This is the type of move that I've been asking, begging, pleading with Rob Pelinka to make. Stop making the splashy, here I am kind of move. Make a move that might be subtle, might be quiet, might not be a name that every Laker fan knows going into this, because there was no speculation that Hachimura was going to be available for the Los Angeles Lakers. And then it gets done. I think this is a move that quietly will improve the Lakers, a team that is already hovering about 500, just about 6 games out of the 3rd seed in the Western Conference. This makes this team better. This makes this team an 8, 7, 6 seed. I don't see it moving drastically. They're not real playoff contenders. They're just playoff contenders that are pretenders for all of us to believe that they're going to go out and be successful in the playoffs and maybe get 1, 2, 3 upsets on their way to an NBA championship. That's not going to happen. This is just a team that right now is looking really good. And again, the Lakers included a 2023 second-round pick via the Chicago Bulls. The Lakers, their own 2029 second-round pick, and the less favorable of the Wizards and Lakers 2028 second-round picks. That was told to Adrian Wojnarowski. And, of course, Hachimura, he's a rookie, a guy that became frustrated, unhappy in the Wizards organization, and he told reporters just last week, quote, I just want to be somewhere that wants me as a basketball player, and I want to be somewhere that likes my game. I just want to be somewhere that believes in me, and I can be myself. That's my goal. End quote. That, again, was said by Hashimura last week, and now he is a Los Angeles Lakers. And as I mentioned, they believe he's going to stabilize the wing. He's a good defender. He has the ability to make the three and a mid-range shot when teams usually try and run the Lakers off the three-point line. He has shot 40.8% on catch-and-shoot threes over the past 2 seasons. That's a pretty good clip, and is shooting 35.1% on catch-and-shoot threes over the course of his career. So this is a great ad by the Los Angeles Lakers. Again, this isn't an ad that is completely making the Lakers a great team. This is just an ad that makes the Lakers a better team. Not a better individual team, but actually a better team. The deal will cost the Lakers approximately $2.9 million in additional luxury tax this season if the team stays as currently constructed. Again, Nunn was signed to the taxpayers' mid-level exception in the summer of 2021 and missed his entire first season with the Lakers because of injuries. And he has been in and out of the lineup this season due to inconsistent play. So that is the trade that sends Kendrick Nunn to that will be the trade that sends Kendrick Nunn to the Washington Wizards. Stephon Diggs has announced and voiced his frustrations. He finally voices frustrations on the loss and his actions or reaction to everything that occurred. He put on Twitter, quote, "Want me to be okay with losing? Want me to be okay with our level of play when it's not up to the standard? Nah," end quote. He also said in a third tweet, quote, "It's easy to criticize my reaction more than the result," end quote. So that's Stephon Diggs going on to his Twitter account and posting all of this. Diggs was shown on the TV broadcast, of course, midway through the fourth quarter, yelling with his arms stretched out in some sort of frustration towards Josh Allen. After the game, Diggs initially moved towards leaving the stadium with his things before some coaches had an opportunity to get in the locker room. But the practice squad running back Duke Johnson, former Cleveland Brown, stopped and talked to him, and Diggs went briefly back into the locker room. Quote, "Just knowing that he was in the emotional state, it's not who he is, it's not what he's about. He was just in an emotional state, so don't want an emotional decision to affect him in the long term. So I thought it was best that he just be a part of whatever was going on in the locker room at the time," end quote. So Sean McDermott does come out and say that Diggs was present for the comments or for the conversation that Sean McDermott had with the rest of his team. Quote, "Steph's a highly competitive individual, as we all know, and that's part of the reason why we all love him. And he's frustrated like we all are. He was in today, and I spoke, and I'll leave it at that," end quote. Johnson said he thinks Diggs deserves more credit for deciding to return to the locker room on Sunday. And Isaiah McKenzie said, quote, "I'll ask what is going to take to get over the hump, just like you asking that question. I really don't know, because everything we got, the players, we got the coaches, we got everything we wanted. We're winning football games when we need to win them during the season. And then we get to the playoffs, it's just like it's not there, and I'm still not understanding that," end quote. That is Isaiah McKenzie on the first round or the divisional round exit for the Buffalo Bills. So that happened as well. Art Moreno is set to maintain ownership of the Los Angeles Angels after exploring a little bit of a sale, citing, quote, "unfinished business," end quote. There's a lot of unfinished business. The Los Angeles Angels have not been successful since Art Moreno took over the team when he purchased the team for not much money, according to Major League Baseball terms now. But then it was quite a bit of money. He purchased it from the Walt Disney Company for $183.5 million in 2003, the year after the first and only championship in franchise history. And he has watched this team's value skyrocket to an approximate $2.5 billion. So from a $183.5 million in 2003 to 20 years later at a valuation of $2.5 billion for the Los Angeles Angels. And of course, Art Moreno has been through his fair share of issues and has gone through his fair share of employment conversations. Moreno's thinking he wants to try and figure this out. Moreno found it increasingly difficult to part ways with the franchise he had presided over for 2 decades. It's also possible that prospective buyers didn't meet Moreno's asking price, though the source disputed that notion. In a statement, Major League Baseball Commissioner Rob Manfred wrote, quote, "Despite strong buyer interest in the Angels, Art Moreno's love of the game is most important to him. I am very pleased that the Moreno family has decided to continue owning the team," end quote. I do want to say one thing. Art Moreno, when he took over the Los Angeles Angels as the principal owner, he did away with the Spanish broadcasting of Los Angeles Angels, which they were trying to do. He really cap-strapped and actually essentially made the play-by-play guy a great Hispanic play-by-play call games from right field in a closet at one point. These are things that aren't publicly known and publicly stated, but to a point of having this guy call a game in a closet in right field and telling him, if you want to call him, you can call him from there. You're not calling him from the booth that he essentially got kicked out of. So I personally am just not a fan of Art Moreno. He has won absolutely nothing. The man has not been afraid to spend, though. We could talk about him not winning anything as an Angels owner, but he's also not been weary at actually spending money, and that's been his issue, right? When you think about Albert Pujols, the tremendous contract, even though Albert Pujols actually had a pretty good career with the Angels at the initial or the onset of it, and then he fell off in the latter years, which is what we all expected him to do. Anthony Rendon, right? He spent money on him. He spent money on Justin Upton. He spent money everywhere. It just hasn't worked. He hasn't hired the right people to take him to the promised land. But Art Moreno will get another shot because he has decided not to sell the Los Angeles Angels. And so we all will look and see how this is going to go. So the 2023 season will serve as Moreno's 21st as the Angels owner. It isn't certain how much longer he will retain the franchise or if any of his 3 children will ultimately change their minds and have interest in filling his shoes. Quote, "During this process, it became clear that we have unfinished business and feel we can make a positive impact on the future of the team and the fan experience. This offseason, we committed to a franchise record player payroll and still want to accomplish our goal of bringing a World Series championship back to our fans. We are excited about this next chapter of Angels baseball," end quote. So that is Art Moreno and what he and others have ultimately done in the realm of not ending up selling the team and not going in any sort of different direction here. I do want to give you guys an update on the head coaching carousel here as we look in just some of the hirings already. We know that the Titans got their guy hired away for them to go to the Arizona Cardinals, and that is Mr. Monty Onzefort. He is now the general manager of the Arizona Cardinals. Jim Schwartz, former Titan senior defensive assistant, has been hired as the defensive coordinator of the Cleveland Browns. As mentioned, Bill O'Brien today had been hired by the New England Patriots, and Rand Carthen, former 49ers director of pro personnel, had been hired as the new general manager of the Tennessee Titans. The Arizona Cardinals have interview candidates. Cardinals defensive coordinator, their own Vance Joseph, Fox NFL analyst, and former Saints former Saints head coach Sean Payton has interviewed for the job. Brian Flores, Steelers linebackers coach and former Dolphins head coach, also interviewed for the job. Former Colts head coach Frank Reich has been interviewed for the job. Lions defensive coordinator Aaron Glenn has been interviewed for the job. Broncos defensive coordinator Ejiro Evero has interviewed for the job, as well as Cowboys defensive coordinator Dan Quinn. Atlanta's looking for a new defensive coordinator, and they interviewed the Broncos defensive coordinator as well, Ejiro Evero, Packers pass game coordinator Jerry Gray, and former Broncos head coach Vic Fangio for their defensive coordinator position. Imagine Vic Fangio at the helm of the defense of the Atlanta Falcons. The Baltimore Ravens looking for a new offensive coordinator. They interviewed Zach Robinson, the Rams quarterback coach and passing game coordinator, and Browns wide receiver coach, passing game coordinator Chad O'Shea so far. Carolina Panthers head coach vacancy has been interviewed, or they've interviewed Sean Payton. They've interviewed the interim head coach of the Panthers, Steve Wilkes, former Colts and Lions coach Jim Caldwell, former Colts head coach Frank Reich, Lions offensive coordinator Ben Johnson, and he informed interested clubs that he is returning to Detroit. So he was the favorite for this job, and he decided to go back to Detroit. Eagles offensive coordinator Shane Steichen, Bills offensive coordinator Ken Dorsey, Giants offensive coordinator Mike Kafka, and Patriots inside linebackers coach Jared Mayo, and he had declined to take the interview. Also declining to take the interview for the D.C. job and the Cleveland Browns, Brian Flores interviewed for that position, and Sean Diassi, Seahawks associate head coach, also interviewing for the job. Denver Broncos head coach, a vacancy has been, they've interviewed Sean Payton. They were going to interview him second time, but that is now all in flux. It apparently was delayed, pushed back, all this nonsense happening there. Intriguing to see what is going down. They were going to interview Jim Harbaugh. He announced he's returning. They've interviewed Dan Quinn, Ejiro Evero of the defensive coordinator of the Broncos, D'Amico Ryans, defensive coordinator of the 49ers, and Rams defensive coordinator Raheem Morris. The head coaching vacancy for the Houston Texans, Eagles defensive coordinator Jonathan Gannon. Lions, again, he decided to return. Broncos, Ejiro Evero, Shane Steichen, Sean Payton, Thomas Brown, Rams assistant head coach, and D'Amico Ryans as well. So those are some of the vacancies here. We'll keep going when we come back. You're listening to the Jose Gonzalez Show.
This is 1430 ESPN Fresno.
Mike Dermanuel Jr.
It's not all good news in the insurance markets, but giving people bad news late is unacceptable. I can't walk in there with bad news a day before a renewal. That's unethical and it's unfair. And that's not going to happen with us. We're going to give you the news and then go fight for you.
Dermanuel Insurance Group, a division of Hub International. Learn more at dmig.com, license number 0757776.
If you're going to create trust, you got to level with people. And we've been doing that.
Every January for 6 decades, Fashion Furniture has hosted the single largest furniture clearance sale in Central California. All the best names like Flex Steel, Bassett, Southern Motion, and Michael Nicholas at savings of 20, 30, even 40%. Plus 0% financing on every recliner, sofa, love seat, dining room, office, and youth furniture, and more. One-of-a-kind items up to 50% off. The 63rd annual January clearance at Fashion Furniture across from River Park. There's nothing like it in all of California.
I'm here at the Roger Dunn Open. Former Fresno State football coach Pat Hill is at the first tee.
Hey, it's a fairway hit.
Yeah, but that's the wrong fairway, Coach.
I need to buy a golf game.
Coach, I really think you need a Roger Dunn makeover.
When you buy a game at Roger Dunn, you can play anybody, anytime, anywhere. This is the old coach, Pat Hill. I bought this 7-iron at Roger Dunn Golf. Number 8 at Tehama, 162 yards out. Eagle, baby!
Don't miss out on money back in your pocket this new year. Get to the 2023 season sales event now at Selma Kia, part of the award-winning Selma Auto Mall. Get a $500 rebate on the all-new 2023 Kia Soul or a $500 rebate on the new 2023 Kia Forte. Inventory arriving daily. Reserve your brand new Kia online at selmakia.com. No matter the season, all new Kias come with the exclusive 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty. Got a trade? Get an instant cash offer in minutes or customize your payments at selmakia.com. $500 rebate available to all buyers. Must finance through Kia Financial. Unapproved credit through Kia Financial. Prices do not include government fees and taxes. Any finance charge, any dealer document processing charge, any electronic filing charge, and any emissions testing charge. Take new retail delivery from dealer stock by 2/28/2023. See Selma Kia for details. Get to the 2023 season sales event today at Selma Kia inside the massive Selma Auto Mall of Highway 99 and Highway 43 in Selma.
As a Walgreens pharmacist, I talk with people all the time about little tips and tricks for filling their Medicare prescriptions, like taking advantage of Walgreens 90-day refills to save them a trip, or using Refill by Scan, which is super easy and right on your phone. And for anybody worried about prescription costs, I say, hey, we got you, with low-cost copays on many medications.
Let's talk about making things easier. Walgreens is here. Fill your way and save at walgreens.com/Medicare. See pharmacists for research.
The Jose Gonzalez Show, mornings on 1430 ESPN.
Monday through Thursday, 7 a.m. and on Fridays beginning at noon here on your local sports leader, 1430 ESPN. Appreciate every single one of you for waking up with us this morning. A nice sunny day here in Fresno, California. I walked outside last night, and it was absolutely cold. It was cold. It was our trash day, right? So I got to take out the garbage and the garbage cans. I don't have to. I could do it in the morning because I wake up early enough to do it. But I do. It's 9 o'clock, and I'm like, I got to do this really quickly. I run outside, and I regretted every second and every moment of it. I just remind myself every time how much of a Fresno hot summer guy I am, and not a Fresno when it gets 35 degrees cold, I am no good. So the Indianapolis Colts, they have interviewed or tried to interview everybody, okay? I'm going to go down this list very quickly. Jeff Saturday. They wanted to interview Jim Harbaugh, return to Michigan. They have interviewed Lions DC Aaron Glenn. They did interview Lions OC Ben Johnson, but he informed them that he was returning back to Detroit. Rams defensive coordinator Raheem Morris. Eagles offensive coordinator Shane Steichen. Broncos defensive coordinator Giro Evero. Chiefs offensive coordinator Eric Bieniemy. 49ers defensive coordinator. I hope he doesn't go here. This would be a terrible, toxic job for DeMeco Ryans. Giants offensive coordinator Mike Kafka. Giants defensive coordinator Wink Martindale. Cowboys defensive coordinator Dan Quinn. Bengals offensive coordinator Brian Callahan. Packers special teams coordinator Rich Bisaccia. So all of those names all interviewing for the job of the Indianapolis Colts. I might have just lost my breath reading the amount of people he is trying to interview. Do you think this is Jim Irsay taking every single one of these interviews and doing every single one so he can essentially flip the middle finger at the NFL and said, I'm going to hire Jeff Saturday, and I interviewed every possible candidate, so you cannot tell me anything other than thank you for interviewing everybody?
That's literally all I was thinking as you were saying all of those names. I'm sure he's still going to go with Saturday. We're all going to look at him like he's insane, but he's going to go with, end up going with Jeff Saturday, and it's going to be ridiculous. It's the perfect move for the chaos that is the Indianapolis Colts, and I'm also just happy Bisaccia is getting some love.
There's a reason why no one else is interviewing Jeff Saturday. The Los Angeles Chargers offensive coordinator job. Rams quarterbacks coach and passing game coordinator Zach Robinson. That is a potential interviewee here. Rams senior offensive assistant Greg Olson. Titans tight end coach Luke Steckel. look, if the Chargers go with either of the top two candidates, that is Brandon Staley, obviously. That is Brandon Staley just saying, I'm going to go with guys that I know. I'm going to go back to the Rams system that I know, that I came from, and that is proving that Brandon Staley should no longer be the head coach if that's the route he takes. Sean Desai interviewed for the Miami defensive coordinator position, Seahawks defensive assistant and associate head coach, and former Michigan's linebackers coach Anthony Campanelli also interviewing for the job. The Minnesota Vikings also looking for a defensive coordinator. I'm doing my best to give you as much information here as possible. Saints co-defensive coordinator and D-line coach Ryan Nielsen, Seahawks defensive assistant and associate head coach Sean Desai, and Steelers senior defensive assistant and linebackers coach Brian Flores, interviewing for the Minnesota defensive coordinator job. I would love to see, if Brian Flores doesn't get a head coaching job, I would love to see him go here and fix this unit, because him fixing this unit with the offense they have could potentially be a deadly combination. Defensive coordinator position appears to be filled by Jared Mayo, and the offensive coordinator position is filled by Bill O'Brien, and that is for the New England Patriots. The New York Jets looking for a new OC. Patriots tight ends coach Nick Kelly interviewing for the job. Former Broncos head coach Nathaniel Hackett has also interviewed for the job. Eagles quarterbacks coach Brian Johnson interviewing for the job. Former Colts offensive coordinator Marcus Brady. Dolphins pass game coordinator quarterbacks coach Darrell Bevel. Browns wide receivers coach, pass game coordinator Chad O'Shea. Eagles pass game coordinator Kevin Patullo. Bills quarterbacks coach Joe Brady. Browns offensive line coach Bill Callahan. These are all the people that I believe that the Los Angeles Chargers should be interviewing, and they are not. Especially Joe Brady. I like Bill Callahan, but Bill Callahan, we've seen what he can and can't do with the Las Vegas Raiders. I like Joe Brady. I also like Brian Johnson. I wouldn't be upset with Nathaniel Hackett, and I know a lot of people think that that would be a terrible hire. Look, he had a great run. He's maybe not a head coach, but he definitely can be an offensive coordinator somewhere. Tennessee Titans general manager position has been filled, and the Washington Commanders offensive coordinator position, they reached out to Jim Caldwell, former Colts and Lions head coach, and he said, absolutely not. I will not be interviewing for the job. So those are all the positions that are open. Those are all the people that have interviewed or will be interviewing for the positions. And there you go. So that you are now up to date on everything, on every single bit of the coaching carousel that is happening around the NFL. And we will probably start getting signings this week. Dan Quinn potentially going somewhere. Unless Jerry Jones says, I'll keep paying you, man. I'll pay you like a head coach here. Right? That's the only way. If Jerry Jones is going to these guys and going, I'll pay you and Kellen Moore the same as my head coach. Keep it here. We want to make sure you keep it right here. So, intriguing to see where and if anything will happen on that side of the card. So, with that being said, coming up, we'll talk a little bit more about Art Moreno staying with the Los Angeles Angels and not selling the team. We'll talk about that next. You're listening to the Jose Gonzalez Show.
Local sports leader.
Hey, this is Gabe Camarillo, your host of Home Field Advantage. Every Thursday, I will be live inside the beautiful Fashion Furniture in River Park.
We are live. Furniture as far as the eye can see. This is the place to be.
Catch up on the scores and scoop from around the central section. You can't miss it. Feel free to drop into Fashion Furniture from 3 to 5 p.m. Listen live to Home Field Advantage, grab some food, and check out the show on your local sports leader, 1430 ESPN.
Look, I can't imagine being with any other bank. We chose Fresno First Bank because it's a local bank to Fresno and to our community. We work in at least 15 different states, and we could have gone with any larger bank, but we felt we needed a strong connection with the bank that was going to help us grow and succeed. The relationship is essential. They're always there for us. They're close, they're connected, They're part of our community, and it's a huge part of our business. At the end of the day, it's all about trust. And that's what we get with Fresno First Bank. Day in and day out.
Admit it, you've got a thing. You've got something you like to have or do that makes you feel good. Maybe it's that first cup of coffee to get your day started right, or having your dog sit next to you on the couch while you read a good book. My thing is double fudge brownies. Don't judge. We all have different things that just make us feel comfortable and right with the world. But there's one thing most of us share. In fact, we're sharing it right now. Radio. Radio keeps us company while we're doing our thing, listening to songs we love, opinions to think about, and information to keep us in the know. When you think about it, radio is a pretty special thing. Since radio is the thing so many of us appreciate, maybe you should be advertising on radio. Let people hear about your business, your cause, your big event from their old friend radio. They may be doing other things, but they'll be listening, because there's still no thing like radio.
Ed Dina's Auto Center in Dinuba and Ed Dina's Used Car Superstore in Visalia are stocked with the best pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs in the market.
And we never marked up pre-owned prices, so you'll always find great vehicles at great prices.
The most popular brands, the most popular models. 2 stores full of great vehicles. Finding the car you want has never been easier.
Gas-saving hybrids, performance cars, crossover SUVs, mid-sized and full-size trucks.
And we offer financing and extended warranties on everything we sell.
Find the
The Jose Gonzalez Show, mornings on 1430 ESPN.
The Jose Gonzalez Show, Monday through Thursday, 7 a.m. and on Fridays, beginning at noon here on your local sports leader, 1430 ESPN. Appreciate every single one of you for joining us every single weekday here on your local sports leader, 1430 ESPN. Art Moreno has decided not to sell the Los Angeles Angels, and there is issue with me with that because the Angels have not been successful since Art Moreno bought the team 20 years ago. Again, they have not been successful, but they also haven't been one of those teams that is not sold. They also haven't been one of those teams that have not bought, right? They have not been one of those teams that have just ignored free agency and been at the bottom. But just because you spend money doesn't mean you've done it intelligently, and that is absolutely what the Angels haven't done. They have not been successful. They have the best player in baseball. They have the 2 best players in baseball. I had to correct myself. They have the 2 best players in baseball, the 2 most marketable players in baseball, 2 of the top talents in baseball, and somehow, some way, the Angels have absolutely messed it all up. And at the fact that Art Moreno is staying has to tell me that he sees the end in sight for Shohei Ohtani. And I don't know what goes on in the brain that I have, but my thought is I almost feel that it might be guaranteed that Shohei Ohtani gets traded by the trade deadline now.
Yeah, I think that's an easy sell on that one. It's not going to take too much convincing to tell somebody that, especially after this. And something that only really Angels fans probably notice, and I saw somebody post about it, all the Shohei Ohtani giveaways this year are within like the first month and a half of the season. Then all of a sudden, all the Shohei stuff's over. So sounds like they might see the writing on the wall as well. But yeah, seeing this yesterday, see a lot of Angels fans. One of our guys, John Frisch, that comes on the show, is absolutely distraught. completely. Seems like it ruined his offseason because he was actually excited about this team, and just everyone's upset over this. Everyone thought he was going to be gone finally. A lot of people in the league call him one of the worst owners because he's so hands-on on the team, yet somehow they continually fall short of everybody's expectations and fail. So, yeah, this Angels Nation, whatever you call yourselves, it ain't good. It ain't good, especially in that post when it ends with "from now and in the future." Like, he is fully not planning on selling this team.
And for me, when I look at this, and when I look at the fact that Moreno, it just has not been successful. There's a lot of controversy that surrounds it. I don't understand this. Like, I understand that these owners have to pay a lot of money to own these teams, but I don't get how Major League Baseball, the NFL, the NBA, like the NBA is the only organization that has a bad owner and does its best to either push him out or have him hopefully sell the franchise, right? Like, the NBA tries to do that because they're a players' league. Major League Baseball, now, there are owners that are absolutely not involved whatsoever. They assign a president of baseball operations, they then assign a general manager, and they don't worry about anything again. They worry about the finances when it's time to create the budget. That's when they care. Art Moreno has been very hands-on. It hasn't worked. It simply hasn't worked. He hasn't hired any person that has brought this team right into contention. Because, again, when you have two of the best players in baseball, you have a team that should compete, and somehow, some way, every single year, the Angels are a disaster. Every year, the Angels are underperforming. Every year, we don't get to see Mike Trout in October. Right? We don't get to see Mike Trout in playoff baseball. And that's, to a point, very, very frustrating when you think about it in terms of fans, right? When you think about how Mike Trout maybe getting to a postseason could increase the amount of interest in Major League Baseball. Simply, we don't get to have it because Art Moreno is not a good owner. Art Moreno doesn't know how to manage a franchise. And you look around Anaheim and you look at the Angels. Look, I get it. The Clippers and the Lakers. I get it. The Chargers and the Rams. But there seems to be the absolute most discrepancy when it comes to Dodgers and Angels. There is a change between the Lakers and Clippers. Clippers are willing to spend money. They might be the second team in L.A. in terms of popularity, but they're not the second team in spending. The Chargers have a great young quarterback. They have an awful owner, so I would hearken it to the Chargers and the Angels. Two bad owners owning franchises that have great players and simply can't be successful. I wonder where the problem lies. Okay, so I want to also talk about the new rules in Major League Baseball, because in 2023, we haven't talked about this enough, and I think we're going to dive deeper and deeper and deeper into this as the season gets closer and closer, and that is, how do these defensive changes, these rule changes by Major League Baseball are going to affect the way we see baseball this year? We'll talk a little bit more about that when we come back. You're listening to the Jose Gonzalez Show.
ESPN. Start your Saturday off right. Beginning at 10 a.m., the Central Valley Sports Report with Paul Meadors. Live from First String Sports. Paul has you covered with guests and scores from around the Central section. Your mornings will never be the same. Listen on the website or by downloading the app. Pour your cup of coffee and listen to the Central Valley Sports Report with Paul Meadors. Live from First String Sports on your Valley's local sports leader. 1430 ESPN.
Hungry? Visit the Chicken Shack, voted the best chicken fingers and wings in Central California. Grab in store or order ahead of time your fresh, never frozen chicken. Get them sauced and tossed with over 30 sauces and rubs to choose from. Not in the mood for delicious chicken? That's okay. We have a variety of salads, and our Shack burgers slap. Don't forget about Old Reliable and the always satisfying buffalo chicken fries. Get them and more at one of our 5 locations around Fresno. You're never too far from the Chicken Shack. Order online at thechickenshackca.com or come in today.
What keeps you up at night? If you're a CEO, it's probably cybercrime. If you've ever been the victim of ransomware, phishing scams, and computer viruses, they are the most persistent and deadly threats that a business owner faces in today's e-commerce environment. Don't fall victim to cybercrime. Get to know M-Cubed Technologies. Nobody hates cybercrime more than the geeks at M-Cubed. Rest easy. Call M-Cubed Technologies and sleep tight. The Valley's premier IT and cybersecurity answer.
Hey, it's Nick Anderson. Understanding the physical and chemical properties of the soil and water in which vines grow is critical for effective management. Introducing GrapeWise from Helena, a season-long plan to maximize grape yields. Being GrapeWise means putting the right tools in place at the right time to maximize your crop and ROI. When you create a GrapeWise plan, our Helena experts provide educational tools, agronomic information, and expert recommendations throughout the growing season. Lead with agronomy in your vineyard and start your GrapeWise plan today with a Helena consultant.
You look stressed. Let me guess, you handle your company's 401k plan.
Is it that obvious?
I see it a lot. Your company hired you to do one job, then they asked you to handle the 401k.
Right. And now I'm not even keeping up with the job I was hired to do.
And that's not good for you, your company, or your plan participants.
Tell me something I don't know.
Okay, you should be having 401k specialists do it all for you.
We don't have any 401k specialists.
No. 401k Specialists is the name of a division of Thyssen-Duker Financial Consulting Group dedicated entirely to making life easier for group plan sponsors.
So my company's plan will be in the capable hands of 401k specialists.
Right. Give 401k Specialists a call at 559-777-2720. That's 559-777-2720. Find out how they can make your life easier.
The advisors of Thyssen-Duker Financial Consulting Group are registered representatives with and securities offered.
The Jose Gonzalez Show, mornings on 1430 ESPN.
The Jose Gonzalez Show, Monday through Thursday, 7 a.m. and on Fridays beginning at noon here on your local sports leader, 1430 ESPN. Here are the rule changes, again, that are coming your way, and that is a pitch timer, limits on defensive shifts, and bigger bases. That's all coming to Major League Baseball here in 2023 after the Joint Committee made the changes. The pitch timer, defensive shift, limits, and bigger bases were the only three rules proposed by Major League Baseball to the Joint Competition Committee, and they have decided to move forward with exactly that. As previously mentioned, the robot umpire is making its way to the minor league system, and we'll see a heavier dosage of exactly that. So make sure that you are listening, because we're going to dive into this. And we're going to go into what these rule changes mean and how they can affect the game of baseball that you are going to see. So that is coming your way. Again, coming up at the bottom of hour number 3, Mike Gill's New Jersey ESPN. He will be joining us to talk about the Philadelphia Eagles and what they can do to beat the San Francisco 49ers. So still a lot to come. Make sure you keep it right here. You're listening to the Jose Gonzalez Show.
This is 1430 ESPN Fresno. Every weekday, tune in to Sportsline, the Bulldog Hour, brought to you in part by Clausen Honda and Clausen Truck Center. Beginning at 2 p.m., the trusted local voice of Tony D attacks all of the hot topics surrounding Fresno State athletics. Listen on the website or download the app. Listen to guests with all the Bulldog insight, like Jackson Moore, Ralph Wood, Paul Leffler, and many more. Tune in beginning at 2 p.m. every weekday on your Central Valley's local sports leader, 1430 ESPN.
JR Sports, your locally owned sports mega store, has your back this football season. Find the biggest selection of Bulldogs, Niners, Raiders, and Super Bowl champion Rams gear at JR Sports. Come get your new favorite hats, jerseys, and so much more to turn you into the super fan you know you are. Represent your team loud and proud no matter who you root for. Visit our Fresno or Clovis stores to see the latest gear from the NFL or visit our website at shopjrsports.com. JR Sports, ramming over the competition.
Don't miss out on money back in your pocket this new year. Get to the 2023 season sales event now at Selma Kia, part of the award-winning Selma Auto Mall. How about a $750 rebate on the all-new 2023 Kia Sorento? Inventory arriving daily. Reserve your brand new Kia online at selmakia.com. No matter the season, all new Kias come with the exclusive 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty. Got a trade? Get an instant cash offer in minutes or customize your payments at selmakia.com. For more selection of best-selling cars and SUVs, shop Selma Kia. Offer excludes Sorento Hybrid and Sorento PHEV models. $750 rebate available to all buyers. Must finance through Kia Financial. On approved credit through Kia Financial. Taking retail delivery from dealer stock by 2/28/2023. See Selma Kia for details. Don't delay these New Year deals. Get to the 2023 season sales event today at Selma Kia, inside the massive Selma Auto Mall, off Highway 99 and Highway 43 in Selma.
Bulldog basketball is back and heating up the Save Mart Center. Don't miss any of the exciting action as both the men's and women's basketball teams take on the Mountain West this season. Make sure to bring the whole family to root for your hometown Bulldogs as they compete for that Mountain West championship Fresno would love to bring home. Tickets start as low as $5 for select games. Grab them at GoBulldogs.com today, and we'll see you at the biggest party in the Valley. Go Dogs!
O'Reilly. Don't risk getting stranded with a bad battery. Our professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts will test your battery for free. If your battery does need to be replaced, we'll help you find the best battery for your vehicle and your budget. Don't wait until your battery is dead. Get it tested for free today at your local O'Reilly Auto Parts store.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
You're listening to the Jose Gonzalez Show, KFIG Fresno, 1430 ESPN.
I'm Christine Lisi. It's back to New England for Bill O'Brien, where his NFL career began in 2007 as a coaching assistant. He's returning to the Patriots to become their next offensive coordinator, a job he previously held with the team, according to ESPN's Adam Schefter and Chris Lowe. O'Brien, a former head coach of the Houston Texans and Penn State, spent the last 2 seasons as the OC at Alabama under Nick Saban. He'll be charged with, among other things, raising the game of quarterback Mac Jones. This past season, New England did not name an official play caller. Matt Patricia, whose primary NFL background is on the defensive side, was New England's primary play caller. Michaela Schifrin, now the most successful female skier in the history of the sport. She picked up her 83rd World Cup victory by winning the slalom in Italy. She needs just 3 more wins to match the overall mark between men and women of 86 victories.
Hour number 2 of the Jose Gonzalez Show starts now.
Hour number 2 of the Jose Gonzalez Show begins right about now, just 1 minute and 40 seconds past the hour of 8 a.m. here in Fresno, California. The Jose Gonzalez Show, Monday through Thursday, 7 a.m. and on Fridays beginning at noon here on your local sports leader. The current temperature in the city of Fresno, California, it is currently 36 degrees. The expected high for today, 59 degrees with an overnight low of 35 degrees. So if you are like me, you are wearing a long sleeve. On top of that, you're wearing another sweater, and then on top of that, you have a jacket on. Okay, so that's just, that's just how those of us that love the summer, react here in the winter. And so, again, 59 degrees expected high, 35 degrees overnight low, 36 degrees of current temperature. It's supposed to get up to 44 degrees here in the morning and through the afternoon of 59 degrees, obviously. That is today. Tomorrow, 61 degrees, a little bit nicer. 62 degrees on Thursday, even nicer. And then, so Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, we'll see sunshine and 60 degrees. And then over the weekend, we're right back into the mid-50s as our high, and with some chance of a little bit of rain coming our way. So, with all that being said, I also want to remind you guys that hour number 2 also is brought to you in part by Helena Agri Enterprises, LLC, the Valley's foremost agronomic solutions provider, people, products, and knowledge. Make sure to follow us on social media at 1430 ESPN on Twitter, Instagram, and on Facebook. Make sure to go and download the app, 1430 ESPN Fresno, 1430 ESPN Fresno. When you go to the App Store, Google Play Store, all you got to do is look up 1430 ESPN if you are in the vicinity. If you are not in the vicinity, then you got to look up 1430 ESPN Fresno, and it will be right there. It will pop up right there, and it will be very, very easy for you to find. Also, want to remind every single one of you that not only you can follow us on social media, but you can follow me on social media at Jose Gonzo Sports or at the Jose G Show. Today on the show, coming up in hour number 3, Mike Gill. He is from ESPN New Jersey, also host of the Believe Network Philadelphia Eagles podcast, and he will join us to talk about the Philadelphia Eagles and what is their real chances at dominating the San Francisco 49ers, beating the 49ers, and heading their way to another Super Bowl appearance, and they hope it finishes like the last time, and that is with the Super Bowl victory. But this time with their starting quarterback, not with the backup. So we were ending the conversation there in hour 1, and what we were talking about was Art Moreno, and if it's going to stay the same old. But where I want to go with this is I want to talk about the new rule changes that are happening around Major League Baseball and the changes that are arising and that are going to make a difference in this upcoming Major League Baseball season, and how a lot of things could be different and how a lot of things can change. Now let's look into some of these here and look into how this is going to go. So the pitch timer, just so we can all have a quick refresher here. This is how the pitch timer will count down: 30 seconds between batters, 15 seconds between pitches when the bases are empty, 20 seconds between pitches with runners on base. Pitchers must begin their motions by the time the timer expires or be charged with an automatic ball. Batters will also be governed by the timer. They must be in the box and alert to the pitcher by the 8-second mark, or they'll be charged with an automatic strike. So that is the biggest change in the rule changes in 2023. As you see, pitchers and hitters are now going to have to kind of work in unison. And pitchers are going to have to be ready to go as soon as hitters get into the box. Now, another rule change, the infield shift restrictions. So another little bit of what this kind of has to do is they're trying to take away the defensive positioning, and MLB is implementing limitations on infield defense. This season, fielding teams must have 4 infielders on the dirt at the start of each pitch, with at least 2 defenders entirely on each side of the second base. Entirely. If defense violates the rule, the hitting team can choose an automatic ball or accept the result of the play. such as if the pitch resulted in a double, despite the pitching infraction, they can take the double. But let's just say the pitching infraction happens, they hit into a double play, they can then take the ball. That's the rule here. If there's an infraction on the play and the ball is hit and the ball is in play, the ball goes anywhere, they can choose a result of the play or an automatic ball. That is how this is shaping.
So baseball's getting a replay first down type situation here.
A what?
Like replay first down in NFL when they get a penalty or whatever.
Yeah. Well, yes. Essentially, they are going to give you an opportunity to accept the holding penalty or decline the holding penalty if you get there. So this is a way to make sure they don't go and take advantage of the play, right, and do something different. And so now teams are going to have to kind of draw different defensive situational moments.
Yeah.
So, again, the big piece that a lot of people believe this is going to help is left-handed hitters. And we'll talk about that in a moment because I do want to dive into some of those. Now, also changing is the pickoff rule. So this is technically entering the rule book as part of the pitch timer, right? It's part of the pitch timer, but it's technically a new rule anyway. Pitchers are no longer allowed unlimited throws to a base, at least not without the threat of a penalty. There are two disengagements, in quotes, allowed per plate appearance, with a disengagement being a pickoff attempt or a step off the mound that isn't an injury or a mound visit. A pitcher can attempt a third pickoff, but the runner automatically advances if the pickoff isn't successful. Also of note, the counter resets if a runner advances. So if the runner moves from first to second, the counter resets, and now you have two more pickoff attempts to have. And again, you can do the third pickoff attempt, but if it's not successful, the runner will automatically advance to the next bag.
Okay.
So there you go. So again, your pickoff moves get booed anyway. So there you go. Don't worry about it anymore. Another piece of the changes that are happening in Major League Baseball is that your Major League Baseball schedule is changing and has officially changed. MLB is doing a balanced schedule, and this is how it works. 14 games per season against each divisional rival. That is down from 19. So they're now playing 14 games against each divisional rival, which used to be 19 games in that stretch. So 14 games per season against each divisional rival, 6 games per season against the 10 other teams in the same league. 1 home series, 1 away series. So every single team in the same league will be either at home or away at one point in the season. So if you are a Los Angeles Dodger fan and you like another team, or maybe you're a team fan of, say, the New York Yankees, but you live in that's a bad one. See, we're lucky here in the California. We have an AL team and an NL team right next to each other, each side, right? If you're in San Francisco, you have the Oakland Athletics, you have the San Francisco Giants. If you are in LA, you have the Dodgers, you have the Angels. But let's just say you're a Giants fan that doesn't want to go to the Coliseum to watch the A's take on the Yankees, right? Like, or something like, if you're a Giants fan, you get to now see in San Francisco every single NL team there at Oracle Park. That's the difference. Now, so you get 6 games per season, 3 home, 3 away, 1 home, 1 away series with the other teams in your league. 4 games per season against a, quote, geographic interleague rival. Pairing that sometimes makes sense. Yankees, Mets, Cubs, White Sox, Astros, maybe like against, and sometimes pit the Astros against the Colorado Rockies. So You have 4 games per season against a geographic interleague rival, and that's to keep the Dodgers and the Angels, and that's to keep the Yankees and the Mets. That's to keep those kind of rivalries in the mix and able to get those things done. So again, let's recap really quickly. 14 games against divisional rivals, or each divisional rival. 6 games per season against the 10 other teams in the same league. 4 games per season against a geographic interleague rival. 3 games per season against every other interleague team. One annual series that will alternate locations. So here's the big caveat to it. If you are an Oakland Athletic fan and you want to see them take on a National League opponent, you will get to see that every other year, depending on who. So, like, I'm a Braves fan. The Braves are going to come to Oakland every other year now instead of every 4 to 5 years, which was usually the case. So now the Angels will see the National League teams more often in Anaheim, stuff like that, which I think is really cool and really good. I think it's really better for the sport because for myself, I want to go see the Braves take on the A's. I want to go see the Braves take on the Angels. I want an opportunity to take a trip to Seattle to watch the Braves take on the Mariners and not have to wait 4 to 5 years for that to happen.
Yeah, it's nice having that every other year now. That's gonna be good.
So, with that, in total, each club will play 46 interleague matchups, up from 16, along with the 12-team playoff format and the universal DH that was adopted in 2022. So this is all pointing like a more NFL, NBA view of the league in terms of competition. And, of course, it creates a more level playing field in crucial wild card races. So I just gave you an entirety of all these rule changes, and one of which is very clear, and that is the balanced schedules. That's where I kind of want to start first, because the balanced schedules seem to now give a better opportunity for the balanced schedules seem to give a better opportunity for teams to have a more of a balanced approach to not be dominating their own league. Like, let's talk about the Los Angeles Dodgers, okay? And the fact that the Los Angeles Dodgers just had a historic season. What did that historic season entail? Dominating their division, right? You then get a ginormous lead from the Dodgers. There are other examples all around that teach us as to a little bit of the consideration as to how that is all shaping out. A very clear one was the Cleveland Guardians absolutely dominated their division, but were under 500 against teams outside their division. So they run away with the division because of how they dominated, but then didn't perform well enough against other teams. You then have others that performed at a very, very above 500 level against their division, and then when they took on 500 or better talented teams, they lost more times than they won. So the thought process of a balanced schedule is to eliminate those, to eliminate the Braves dominating the Marlins, to eliminate the Braves, Phillies, Mets dominating the Nationals, to eliminate the Dodgers and the Padres dominating the Giants, dominating the Rockies, dominating the Diamondbacks. It eliminates all of these things where the Astros now are not dominating, right, the bottom tier of the American League West. So I personally really am a fan in its totality. It's not even where I'm like, I don't really like this or I don't really like that. I am a fan of the totality of the balanced schedule with American League and National League teams playing on a consistent more basis, right? We already had done away with the fact that there were two different leagues. We essentially had done away with that. As soon as the universal DH came, there was no difference between American League and National League. There's utterly no difference. The only thing that separates them is their league. So once that happened, I'm like, okay, this is just Major League Baseball. It's not the National League and the American League anymore. It's Major League Baseball, and I am a fan of the ability to be able to see these teams in ballparks that we're not seeing them on a consistent basis, and now we get to see them every other year and not every 4 to 5 years where you get the experience seeing maybe a Shohei Ohtani, right? If you are a Braves fan and maybe you missed the Angels series recently in Atlanta, Shohei Ohtani pitched there. Now you at least get a chance in another year and not in 4 or 5 years when he's no longer in Los Angeles Angel, or you're just getting an opportunity to see players, hitters, pitchers that you might not normally get to see, or an opportunity to see. I like that aspect. I like the fact that you're not going to be able to dominate your division to a division title and to a playoff spot. I think it will make the wild card way more competitive because everybody's playing everybody. There is no longer the excuse that this division is weaker than that division because you're not playing those games as constantly as you used to.
Yeah, 100%. That's how I was looking at it too. It'll be nice for fan bases. It's going to help grow the game a little more because you get to see everybody possibly once a year, every other year, whatever it is. And yeah, the competitiveness, 100% it's going to increase that because not only just we can't say one's weaker than the other because they're all playing each other, but the idea of, hey, your team's 2 games back of the Dodgers. The Padres are 2 games back of the Dodgers, and they're going to play each other head-to-head like crazy. And it's either going to amount in a massive lead or you're going to come out pretty much even. Then the next series, the Dodgers can go play the Yankees, who could possibly be the best in the American League. That gives you more of a chance within your division because you're watching them have to go play another dominant team instead of just go stomp on somebody else.
Yeah, which again entails back to the point of this leaves us with good teams playing good teams. They have to play each other.
Yeah.
Right? We're going to get the top-tier Major League Baseball teams playing the top-tier Major League Baseball teams. We're going to get more anticipated matchups. Right? Now we're going to get teams that are possibly fighting for a wild card playing each other in September. Right? Instead of teams that are vying for a division and they're already running away with it. Like, this is going to tighten everything up at the top where now, as you were saying, you get the Dodgers and the Yankees, 2 of the top 2 teams in Major League Baseball. You get to see them. You're going to get the Yankees and the Braves. You're going to get the Phillies, right? You're going to get all of these actions where the top AL teams are going to play everybody, right? The Houston Astros having to play the Dodgers, right, on a consistent basis every single year. The Houston Astros playing the Mets, playing the Braves, playing the Phillies. You're going to get to see all of these, and we will get a better gauge as well as to who really are the best teams, right? Because now we're going to get to see the Houston Astros and the Seattle Mariners really go out and compete with everybody else. Now we're going to get to see the Dodgers, Giants, and Padres. Is the National League West the best division in baseball, right? We're going to be able to get to see these things because it's going to be more consistent.
Yeah, and it's going to make the postseason a lot more fun, too, because that's the other part of it. Sometimes in these NLCS matchups, if it's an NL East team versus a West team, you're going to have pitchers that have seen a guy like maybe one time in their career or sometimes not even at all. And the part of the fun for me anyway, I think, in baseball is when these teams have history with each other. If you meet up at some point during the season and this dude went 4 for 5 off of Garrett Cole with 2 bombs, you look forward to that matchup in the playoffs and see who's going to show up. So as well as making it more competitive, it just makes the game a lot more fun, I think, too. Again, having that history aspect to it.
Absolutely. So when we look at this is one of the things that drew my attention the most, and one of those that made me more intrigued, and I think is going to be a whole lot better for the game of baseball in terms of attention. Because we're talking about we're going to get to see who can beat who, but it's also the factor of we get to see these matchups. They're going to be on ESPN. They're going to be on the national networks. We get to actually have marquee matchups in Major League Baseball, right? Every single year, we're going to get the Dodgers playing the Yankees. Every single year, we're going to get the Red Sox playing a National League team that could be in contention. every single year we get the Blue Jays, who are now a perennial contender, taking on, instead of the Blue Jays having to go and get beat up inside the AL East, they're going, like, that's the big, I think the AL and the NL East are the two divisions that are going to benefit from this the most, and also kind of see a little bit of a change, right? Because the top dominates the bottom, and they are some of the most competitive teams. It could benefit them because they're not beating up on each other anymore, right? The Braves and the Phillies and the Mets aren't beating up on each other as much. The Yankees, the Blue Jays, the Rays, maybe the Orioles, and the Red Sox aren't going to have to beat up on each other to figure out who's going to win the division. You can go out and compete with everybody else, but the point I'm making is you get to now see marquee matchups that we don't normally get to see. Braves, White Sox, Dodgers, White Sox, right? Cardinals. We get to see some of those matchups as they will be taking on some of those teams. So I think this is going to create rivalries as well. Kansas City taking on St. Louis. Those kind of rivalries where you get to see them more often and they're geographically very close. So you get to have that contest. The Chicago White Sox, who are competitive and I think will continue to be competitive, going out and playing that. The Minnesota Twins, right? Having some of those contests. I think it's going to be very intriguing to see these teams start taking on each other, and also how it creates marquee matchups during the season where the Braves and so, or the Blue Jays are taking on the Dodgers, the Blue Jays taking on the Giants, right? Where every single year, if a guy just left a big team, he decide if Aaron Judge, right? I know this would have happened anyway, but if Aaron Judge would have signed with the San Francisco Giants, and I'm not trying to be with the joke, but if Aaron Judge would have signed with the San Francisco Giants, we would have been guaranteed. I know the schedule already had come out, and we were going to see it anyway, but we would have been guaranteed that San Francisco was going back to New York, and that New York was coming back here to San Francisco. Those are the things that we would get guaranteed when free agents decide to sign somewhere else.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up too. It's no more running away from your division or your past team. You're going to face them again, and it's going to be fun. So much fun.
And again, we're talking about it, but that is proving how much more interest, how much more just entertainment value this is going to bring just by making everybody play each other, right? Just by making everybody play each other, going to the NBA model, because that's essentially what this is, going to the NBA model. To me, it also is going to go into something that we will talk maybe today, maybe sometime in the next couple of weeks after the Super Bowl and when that is dying down. I think this balanced schedule is going to lean us heavily and way more into expansion. Because I believe it will take us to expansion, and I believe it will take us to realignment. We talk wholly about realignment on the college football level, but think about realignment on a geographical level now. Because if everybody's playing everybody, think about grouping everybody together on a geographical level. At the fact that maybe the Rockies, the Astros, the Texas Rangers are all in one division. And instead of making the Seattle Mariners make the trek all the way from the Pacific Northwest all the way down to take on the Astros, to take on the Rangers, and the Athletics in there, why not then create the Mariners, the Athletics, the Giants, all in a similar division? They're all in that geographical area. And then you have the Dodgers, the Angels, the Padres down south. I'm just saying there is a lot that makes sense on the geographical side that I think we will get to when they do expansion. So I think those are things that we will talk about as well, and eventually. So one of the rule changes that I do want to talk about was one of the ones that I mentioned earlier on, but I forgot another rule change that came this way, is that uniforms will have advertising patches in 2023, something that we've all seen in soccer for some time. MLB negotiated the right for owners to sell jersey patches as part of the new CBA, with Commissioner Rob Manfred calling them, quote, a reality of life in professional sports, end quote. The San Diego Padres were the first team to strike a deal for their patch with Motorola. Yeah, that's entirely shocking. $9 million per year. And other teams will undoubtedly get involved on it as well. And another rule change that we did not talk about is bigger bases. They're going to be bigger. Specifically, they will be 18 inches square instead of 15 inches square. While there is some hope that maybe this might encourage more stealing of the bags, it is more of a safety precaution for players to be able to have more of an ability to get around a guy. So if you're running down the first base line, the first baseman has more room to go back, to go further out, and the runner has an ability to kind of miss the player on the side. So it's more about that than it is for stealing. So it just allows runners and fielders more room to avoid dangerous collisions and entanglements, especially at first. And what did you think about the bigger bases? I'm okay with it. I do think it's going to increase the likelihood people do steal, and you're going to have to teach second basemen and shortstops how to cover second a little bit differently. But I like the bigger bases.
No, yeah, I'm not mad at it. I definitely saw it more as a safety thing, which is kind of weird because I think in the beginning of the season we're going to see a lot of guys eating it at first. Because 3 inches on each side really does make a difference on, making sure you're striding right, so you're hitting the front of the bag instead of stepping on the middle of it. I think you're going to see a lot of that in the beginning. But I think these guys will make the adjustments. And yeah, stealing bases is going to be just a little bit easier. Just a little bit. And that's going to improve a lot of stuff. So,
what's cool here, and this is where I want to talk about, and we will get more in depth about this as the season gets closer, and that is the infield shift restriction. I am hearing tons and tons of left-handed hitters get excited about this, not because of the guy that is standing in right field as a second baseman, but essentially a shallow right fielder. They are talking about the guy that stands right behind second. That's who they're talking about more. They're not talking about that guy in right. Yeah, obviously, those are going to be more hits because of those shallow line drives into right field that have been always been caught now and have now been taken away from that slap to the right side, and the fact that there's a second baseman that just picks it up and then tosses it because he's playing about 10, 15 feet behind where he normally does play.
Yeah.
They're talking about the guy standing behind second. That's the one they believe is going to be the big change, because their argument is, we've always learned to hit it right back up the middle, and right back up the middle has always been a base hit. Now, right back up the middle is right to the shortstop, standing right there behind second, and it is an easy out for all of us, and it's having to change our approach, right? Yeah. And a lot of people always go, and this is the argument that I always have, a lot of people always go, well, why don't you just start changing your swing or changing your hit, or your the way you hit, or changing your stance, or changing your hands, changing your elbows, changing this, changing that, right? Well, when you learn something for 20 years, I think it's really hard to stop doing it, right? When it got ingrained into your brain that you are supposed to hit it right back up the middle, that is the meaning of a perfect hit, that's the meaning of a perfect swing. When you hit it right back the middle, when you hit it at the pitcher's head, that it is a perfect swing. That's what you're taught.
Yeah.
That's the perfect swing. And then you get to Major League Baseball and they go, adjust to not hitting it there anymore. I think that was the big piece for me. We're going to see batting averages finally skyrocket again. I think we're not going to see these guys like Joey Gallo, these guys like Cody Bellinger, who have a 205 batting average. I don't think they're going to drastically go to a 275 or a 285, but don't be surprised if Cody Bellinger and Joey Gallo are hitting 235, 245, 255. It might not be that drastic, but I think now we're going to see these guys hitting 255, where the shift was taking a lot away from them, And, of course, defenses are going to have to get creative, and things are going to have to go that way, right? Maybe the shortstop stands closer to second, and as soon as he sees that ball released from the pitcher's hand, he's running right behind second base, and he's getting ready that way.
Yeah.
Now, if that's the way you're going to do it, fine. You're going to force your guy to not make a mistake and to not overrun his position. That is fine. That is sportsmanship. But I truly feel that this is going to be the rise once again of the left-handed hitter that we've seen drop in recent years. And not only guys like Cody Bellinger and Joey Gallo who are home run hitters and have seen that decrease, but guys that are a Freddie Freeman, guys that are left-handed hitters, have the batting average, but still get those outs. Now, for those guys, it's going to be even better and even more of an advantage for them to be able to get those hits. But we're going to see a very big increase on batting average in left-handed hitters this year.
Oh, yeah, 100%. And it's definitely going to be a big just offensive increase, period, for the game. And, yeah, for people saying that if it was that easy, this wouldn't be an issue in the first place. And, yeah, absolutely, those guys are getting mad because they are a pull hitter, and their adjustment is smacking it right back up the middle where a shortstop is standing right on second base, and it sucks every time it happens. The only thing I have about the rule, do they clearly define what side of the base is second base completely split in half?
It says clearly on the other side of second.
Meaning second base being split directly in half, or is it shooting off?
I'm assuming it's going to shoot off because they're saying clearly on the other side of second. So it's not where you are any part of your body can't be behind that bag is what I'm assuming.
Okay.
It has to be clearly on the other side of second base. So that's the intriguing part is when we get to see what the actual mechanism is. And I'm sure Major League Baseball is going to all of these teams and telling them this is where you can stand, this isn't where you can stand.
Oh, because I'd seen one thing where they were thinking about actually putting chalk lines.
I also heard that as well.
Sticking out from second, which would look kind of funky, but hey.
Well, you don't even have to put chalk all the way out. You could just put chalk because they're supposed to be on the dirt.
Yeah.
Right? You have to have 4 infielders on the dirt. So you could just put chalk up to the grass area.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be totally fine because you just need a clear definition of it. That's all I was looking for because, yeah, if it's second base is split in half, like straight up the middle, then, you can cheat as far over as you possibly can. But having it jet out from the actual diamond part of it, I think it's going to make the rule a lot easier to enforce.
Absolutely. So, again, all of these rule changes, and as we continue moving forward, we're going to dive deeper in depth on this and seeing how it potentially can go up. Do you think ERAs are going to go up?
Because of the shift?
Because of the shift. Just this is a preliminary thought process here because of how this is dictated. Because if we're seeing a change where batting averages are going up, I mean, more hits are going to come. So we're going to have to see that, or does it help pitchers? That's a caveat here. Does it help pitchers? Because now pitchers that had been taught or were being taught to, hey, we're shifting to the right, you got to throw outside. You can't throw inside. There's no, because if you throw inside, he hits it in, we're not going to be able to go get that.
Yeah.
Right? Or if you're shifting a left-handed hitter, you throw him inside, hey, you got to force him in. You got to force him to pull. You got to force him to where our guys are. Do you think that we're going to see either pitchers get back to their comfortable factor of being able to just go with their game plan and know, hey, my guys are standing where my guys are standing, and now the hits that used to not be hits and the hits that became hits, right? Because that's the thing people forget. There are hits that weren't hits before that became hits because hitters were hitting them to places that defenders were. Right? Where the third baseman normally was, a player was hitting it there, but the third baseman wasn't standing there. Instead, the shortstop was standing in his normal position, and the third baseman was standing where the second baseman normally does stand.
Yeah.
Those moments also are going to change.
Yeah, 100%.
Because I used to be mad. You would just see a slap, and it was going, it's like, if you would have just stayed. You just stayed. We'd be out of the inning right now.
Yeah, you beat the shift. Good for you. That was the other way to look at it too. I think there would be a slight increase going both ways. I don't think ERAs are going to skyrocket, but I think you'll see some of them be a little bit higher. But then I think baseball has its way of balancing itself out where they can go back to the normal game plan and be like, all right, I can throw this left-handed hitter outside and not worry about him poking it to left because my third baseman is where he's supposed to be and my shortstop's where he's supposed to be. So I think it's going to find its way to even itself out.
I think so too. I think it's going to even itself out, and I'm excited. Pitchers and catchers, of course, as we look through the beginning of the season and where this season is going to begin. I know we're still not out of football season, but look, there's a lot of us that are baseball fans that are ready. February 15th for many is the first day that pitchers and catchers will be reporting. We are less than a month away. February 16th for some and February 17th for a very, very few. But February 15th is when the majority of players will be reporting, which is about 3 weeks away. So 3 weeks away from the beginning, essentially, of the baseball season. And then position players report February 20th, which is a Monday, or February 21st, which is a Tuesday. That is when position players report. So February 15th and February 16th are the days to know when we will have some sort of baseball happening. Take a break. We'll be back. You're listening to the Jose Gonzalez Show.
1430 ESPN Fresno, your local sports leader.
Don't miss out on money back in your pocket this new year. Get to the 2023 season sales event now at Selma Kia, part of the award-winning Selma Auto Mall. How about a $750 rebate on the all-new 2023 Kia Sorento? Inventory arriving daily. Reserve your brand new Kia online at selmakia.com. No matter the season, all new Kias come with the exclusive 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty. Got a trade? Get an instant cash offer in minutes or customize your payments at selmakia.com. For more selection of best-selling cars and SUVs, shop Selma Kia. Offer excludes Sorento Hybrid and Sorento PHEV models. $750 rebate available to all buyers. Must finance through Kia Financial. On approved credit through Kia Financial. Take new retail delivery from dealer stock by 2/28/2023. See Selma Kia for details. Don't delay these New Year deals. Get to the 2023 season sales event today at Selma Kia, inside the massive Selma Auto Mall, off Highway 99 and Highway 43 in Selma.
Hey, this is Pat Hill, inviting you to stop by Nick's Custom Golf Carts and Utility Vehicles. You gotta see the selection of vehicles from Club Car, including the new Onward and Carryall models. Club Car, the world's best vehicles for personal, commercial, and golf use. Plus, Nick's has used carts, utility vehicles, and refurbished carts. See the selection at nicksgolfcarts.com. And if you need your cart or utility vehicle, Nick's will take care of you. Nick's Custom Golf Carts and Utility Vehicles at Ashland and Valentine.
So as you guys know, Mark's gone.
The float artist at Fred's Floral just took off, days before the parade. They need a replacement before business passes them by.
And who am I going to get to finish the float?
Indeed can help them hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. With Indeed Instant Match, we immediately show you quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed meet your sponsored job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Mr. Clean, Mr. Clean.
I hate the struggle of tough, greasy messes on my stovetop. So I just wipe, and I'm done.
When I'm frustrated with stubborn bathtub soap scum, I just wipe, and I'm done.
Mr. Clean Clean Freak delivers an innovative cleaning experience with a powerful deep cleaning mist that starts working on contact to break down tough messes in seconds.
Just
wipe,
done.
Listen to Home Field Advantage Monday through Thursday, 3 to 5 p.m. Gabe Camarillo asks all the hard-hitting questions.
Are you going to petition again to play and defend your D1 title?
What kind of question is that, Gabe?
Is that a yes?
You know the answer to that question.
Hear all about your local high school teams from their coaches,
Don Arax, Sanger head football coach Matt Logue,
and players. Get Home Field Advantage with Gabe Camarillo Monday through Thursday beginning at 3 p.m. right here on locally owned. The Jose Gonzalez Show, mornings on 1430 ESPN.
Monday through Thursday, 7 a.m. and on Fridays beginning at noon here on your local sports leader, 1430 ESPN. And good morning with all of you here in the city of Fresno, California. Appreciate every single one of you for joining us Monday through Thursday, 7 a.m. and on Fridays beginning at noon. Right here on your local sports leader, 1430 ESPN. And so with all that being said, we had a nice conversation about Major League Baseball and the rule changes. And does the rule changes make you more excited about the upcoming season? Does it make you more giddy because, hey, look, I know that the baseball purists are going to complain, and you know what? Go ahead and yell. Kick and scream, I don't care. This is good for baseball. I would love to know what Tony thinks, and we will probably talk to him this Friday. But I would love to actually see why people don't like these rule changes, because I feel like this is actually in the betterment of the game. The pitch clock, I think, is a benefit. I don't know how annoying it is to watch a pitcher take his lovely time to get back onto the mound and see a hitter go ahead and tap his elbow 30 times before walking on into the batter's box and getting ready to hit. Like, I get it. I think it's going to create a different strategy because now you got to go. Now you got to get there. Now you got to bring your process together. Now you can't step off the mound to kind of intimidate a hitter. Now it's a go, go, go. And I get it, but hey, it keeps eyes on the game and it keeps everybody paying attention instead of turning around and having a conversation, and I have an entire 15-minute conversation and there's one out in the inning and nothing has happened. Like that, I think, is a big benefit. It's going to improve people that are there. It's going to improve attendance, I think, and people actually wanting to watch baseball because, hey, there's something always happening. Like there's a pace to this now.
Yeah.
And I get the baseball purists, but if you want the game to survive, you have to evolve. And this, I think, is a great way to evolve the way they are handling this right now with these rule changes right now.
Yeah, it actually does make me a little more excited for the season to really see how this is all going to play out. In terms of those arguments, one side will be shutting up. Either the baseball purists, because they're going to see, hey, look at that. It doesn't really affect the game that much. Everything's okay. It's still baseball. Or this is going to completely throw a wrench in things, and they get to argue more and more about how they were right, and the other side gets to shut up. So at some point, this argument's going to end this season, which is going to be nice. I'd say the only one I really have, not really an issue with, but I think there's going to be an issue with, is the pitch clock and making sure the batters get in time. Because I think if a pitcher thinks the batter had an extra second, just because that's kind of how baseball players are, they will complain about it. And I think some things might get a little heated, maybe a little chippy, where you see players yelling at each other a little more to hurry up. That and the whole, you only get so many stepping off the mound. Because sometimes pitchers have to step off the rubber because they just need to, something feels weird, or mentally they need to get something to click. That's gonna kind of.
But how often does that happen? It doesn't happen very often, and it's not like it's only to while that same batter's on. Like if it's a new at bat, all those things. Like the fact that it resets for them, if the runner advances, I think it's really key. Like the fact that, yeah, sometimes that does happen, but more times than not, it doesn't. And if that becomes an issue, then there you have a conversation with the home plate umpire, right? The fact that, look, there's a lot of humidity I'm having to step off and make sure I'm doing that. Or it just makes pitchers do it instead of watching everything that's happening around them, actually get to the mound and get themselves ready for the next pitch.
Yeah, it does. Just speaking from a pitcher's perspective, it's such a mental thing having to deal with all that stuff. Sometimes you do just need to step off. They should figure it out.
Which I agree, it is absolutely a mental thing. But what gets me is a free throw shooter in a critical moment in a critical game. It's him in the basket, right? And I don't see free throwers step off. I don't see penalty shooters step off, right? Like I don't see goalkeepers going, give me a second. I got it. I think it's this thing that we've made it seem so important that pitchers have this weird thing to go about that we've dictated certain things to go with pitchers. And it's like, well, let's mentally change it, right? You can only process it by mentally changing it and fixing the way a lot of this kind of goes. I like it. I'm excited for it. I think it makes me more excited for Major League Baseball this upcoming season to see all of these things implemented this year. Take a break. We'll be back. You're listening to the Jose Gonzalez Show.
And then we're asked to shut down or close our restaurant. It was very nerve-wracking for me because a lot of these people are family to me. So to wait for that PPP loan was huge, and we're waiting with a different bank, and it wasn't coming through. And finally, Fresno First stepped up and really came through for us. And it was really nice to be able to talk to somebody live on the phone instead of the national bank where we're just a number where we couldn't even get a call back. It's not easy running a successful business, but we put our customers first. That's our main criteria. I think Fresno First does the same thing. They put the customers first.
Ed Dina's the dealer in Dinuba that does. Yes, he does.
Ed Dina's Auto Center in Dinuba and Ed Dina's Used Car Superstore in Visalia are stocked with the best pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs in the market.
And we never marked up pre-owned prices, so you'll always find great vehicles at great prices.
The most popular brands, the most popular models. 2 stores full of great vehicles. Finding the car you want has never been easier.
Gas-saving hybrids, performance cars, crossover SUVs, mid-sized and full-size trucks.
And we offer financing and extended warranties on everything we sell.
Find the pre-owned car, truck, or SUV you've been looking for and save.
Only at Ed Dina's Auto Center in Dinuba and Ed Dina's Used Car Superstore in Visalia. Open 24 hours a day at eddinasautocenter.com.
Ed Dina's the dealer in Dinuba that does. Yes, he does.
The way you set up the tree, how you hang every light. The holidays are what you make them. Make them even more with Lowe's. With everyday low prices on pre-lit artificial trees starting at $99 and Christmas lights at $298. Even festive inflatables starting at $14.98. So you can make your holiday twice as nice, twice as merry at Lowe's. Home to any budget, home to any possibility. While supplies last. Available on Lowe's.com everywhere. About 10/28 through 11/3.
Offering a 401k plan is a great thing a company can do to help its people prepare for the future. But if you're trying to manage your 401k, you know it can be complex and time-consuming. It's not your area of expertise or where you want to spend your time and resources. If you're an employee of a company that offers a 401k, that's a wonderful benefit. But understanding your options or how to make changes can be confusing. Maybe you've recently changed jobs and you don't know what to do with your 401k funds from your previous job. There's a simple answer. Just call 401k Specialists. 401k Specialists is a division of Thiessen-Duker Financial Consulting Group focused entirely on making life easier for plan sponsors and their participants. So the only thing you need to know is their phone number. Call 401k Specialists today at 559-777-2720. That's 559-777-2720.
The advisors of Thiessen-Duker Financial Consulting Group are registered representatives with and securities offered through LPL Financial, member FINRA SIPC.
The Jose Gonzalez Show on 1430 ESPN.
Monday through Thursday, 7 a.m. and on Fridays, beginning at noon here on your local sports leader, 1430 ESPN. A good morning to all of you here in the city of Fresno, California. Appreciate every single one of you that join us Monday through Thursday, 7 a.m. and on Fridays, beginning at noon. Also want to remind you guys, hey, go find us on YouTube. You can follow the show on the 1430 ESPN Fresno YouTube channel. If you miss any of the show, maybe, hey, you want to say, hey, I want to actually see the show. I want to see Gonzo overreact. I want to see Gonzo get all upset. You can do that on our YouTube page, 1430 ESPN Fresno. That is how you look us up on YouTube. And every day the show gets uploaded right there on YouTube. You can go and watch the show. You can also watch the show live on Facebook and interact with us. It's all right there. It's all easy for you guys to do. Ryan, reminder, coming up here in hour number 3. Yeah, we're done with a couple of hours. I looked up and I was, all right, we're near the end. Coming up here in hour number 3, what I want to start off with, and I guess we're going to hold 2 topics that are essentially evergreen. We can bring those up at any point after this football season, but at some point before the football season or about when the football season ends, we're going to talk about NBA expansion. We're going to talk Major League Baseball expansion as well as Major League Soccer expansion, how those leagues are expanding and why the NFL might be waiting and seeing how they approach it as opposed to these major entities doing it now, because it's been a year. It's been years, okay? It's been some time since the last team went through expansion. Also, we will be talking about the Hall of Fame ballot at some point this week as well, maybe next week, because there is one important guy on the ballot that we want to talk about, or that I want to talk about, and that is Carlos Beltran, the first of the 2017 Astros cheating scandal players to be on the ballot. How do writers react to that with the steroid era players right there as well? That's a conversation that I want to have and we will have. So coming up here, though, we're going to flip the script and we're going to talk about the NFL. And we're going to talk about the 4 teams in the playoffs. And then Mike Gill from New Jersey, ESPN, joins us. Hour number 3. We'll get you ready when we come back. You're listening to the Jose Gonzalez Show.
And we realized that the only reason they had them is because they were really super affordable. We were able to make some adjustments for them that kept them level from their prior year costs. We're having deeper conversations about things like that, and it's been paying off really, really well for our clients.
Dermanuel Insurance Group, a division of Hub International. Learn more at dmig.com, license number 0757776.
Hi, I'm James Schaefer, product specialist for Helena Agri-Enterprises. Take control of grass and broadleaf weeds in your orchards this season. Helena's newest herbicide, Centris, boasts the power of indaziflam and rimsulfuron in one easy-to-use jug. The 2-in-1 herbicide provides complementary burn down and season-long control for up to 6 months, while also reducing the potential for future retreatments, saving you time and money. For control to the core in your orchards, contact your local Helena representative. Always read and follow label instructions and check registration status before use.
What keeps you up at night? If you're a CEO, it's probably cybercrime. If you've ever been the victim of ransomware, phishing scams, and computer viruses, they are the most persistent and deadly threats that a business owner faces in today's e-commerce environment. Don't fall victim to cybercrime. Get to know M-Cubed Technologies. Nobody hates cybercrime more than the geeks at M-Cubed. Rest easy. Call M-Cubed Technologies and sleep tight. The Valley's premier IT and cybersecurity answer.
Every January for 6 decades, Fashion Furniture has hosted the single largest furniture clearance sale in Central California. All the best names like Flex Steel, Bassett, Southern Motion, and Michael Nicholas at savings of 20, 30, even 40%, plus 0% financing on every recliner, sofa, love seat, dining room, office, and youth furniture, and more. One-of-a-kind items up to 50% off. The 63rd annual January clearance at Fashion Furniture across from River Park. There's nothing like it in all of California.
JR Sports, your locally owned sports mega store, has your back this football season. Find the biggest selection of Bulldogs, Niners, Raiders, and Super Bowl champion Rams gear at JR Sports. Come get your new favorite hats, jerseys, and so much more to turn you into the super fan you know you are. Represent your team loud and proud no matter who you root for. Visit our Fresno or Clovis stores to see the latest gear from the NFL or visit our website at shopjrsports.com. JR Sports, ramming over the competition.
At Citizens Business Bank, we've been taking a personal approach to banking for over 40 years and are consistently recognized as one of the top performing banks in the nation. Hi, I'm Susan Woosner, Senior Vice President and Manager of Citizens Business Bank in Fresno. We believe in the importance of building long-lasting and genuine relationships with our customers. We want to provide you with the solutions you need to grow your business because your success is our success. Citizens Business Bank, member FDIC.
Number 3, Mike Gill. He is host on ESPN New Jersey, also host of the Believe in Eagles podcast on the Believe Network. We'll talk to him about the Eagles and how they look going into this game against the San Francisco 49ers. But we open up talking about the 4 teams in the playoffs. There's something about them. There's just something about them. Our number 3. That's next. You're listening to the Jose Gonzalez Show.
1430 ESPN Fresno, your local sports leader. Bulldog basketball is back and heating up the Save Mart Center. Don't miss any of the exciting action as both the men's and women's basketball teams take on the Mountain West this season. Make sure to bring the whole family to root for your hometown Bulldogs as they compete for that Mountain West championship Fresno would love to bring home. Tickets start as low as $5 for select games. Grab them at GoBulldogs.com today, and we'll see you at the biggest party in the Valley. Go Dogs!
I know you're probably busy right now, but I'd like to invite you to join me in 60 seconds of imagination. As you listen to my voice, imagine you're completely relaxed in the hammock. There's a plump little puppy curled up beside you, contentedly asleep. A warm breeze washes over you as you take a sip of coffee from your favorite mug. The puppy just woke up, gave you a look to make sure you're still there, and went peacefully back to sleep. I bet you're feeling pretty good right now. Now imagine I'd been sharing a different story, one about your business, all the special things you do for your customers and would love to be doing for new customers, or inviting people to support a cause that's dear to your heart, or to attend a big event you're promoting. Imagine your audience imagining your story right now, right here on the radio. Imagine the possibilities, because there's still nothing like radio.
Hey, this is Gabe Camarillo, your host of Home Field Advantage. Every Thursday, I will be live inside the beautiful Fashion Furniture in River Park.
We are live, furniture as far as the eye can see. This is the place to be.
Catch up on the scores and scoop from around the central section. You can't miss it. Feel free to drop into Fashion Furniture from 3 to 5 p.m., listen live to Home Field Advantage, grab some food, and check out the show on your local sports leader, 1430 ESPN.
California can be a great place to live. But with rising costs, buying your first home, a vacation home, or even a home for your retirement can seem like it's out of reach. But is it? Maybe you should do what more and more California home seekers are doing, buying a mobile or manufactured home with a loan from Murphy Bank. Now consider this. Mobile and manufactured homes are spacious, low maintenance, and surprisingly affordable. At Murphy Bank, we specialize in loans for mobile and manufactured homes, and we love helping people realize that they can afford a nice home in California, even on the Central Coast, where there are more than 100 mobile home communities. So don't give up on your dream. Take a serious look at a mobile or manufactured home. Murphy Bank can help. Visit us online at murphybank.com or stop by one of our branches in Fresno or San Luis Obispo. Murphy Bank. Nice people, smart solutions. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
You're listening to the Jose Gonzalez Show, KFIG Fresno, 1430 ESPN. Hour 3 of the Jose Gonzalez Show.
Hour number 3 of the Jose Gonzalez Show begins right about now. Just a minute and 37 seconds past the hour of 9 a.m. here in Fresno, California. My, does the time just go on by. I was thinking, I was like, oh, all right, today we don't have to talk about the football. Like we don't have to talk about the divisional round. Like today is a free day. We get to talk about a little bit about everything. And we didn't really dive into opinions today. Right?
No, not too much.
We grazed over a lot of topics. We went over tons of topics. We're now in hour 3.
Yeah. We're here for it.
The coaching carousel, by the way.
My goodness.
I'm going to do my best to keep everybody updated, keep everybody involved in that conversation. I want to do my best to give you all of that information as possible right there.
Yeah.
So where I want to go here, before I go anywhere, I got to remind you that the current temperature here in the city of Fresno, this is the third time today, okay? Third time. The current temperature in the city of Fresno, California, it is 40 degrees. Expected high for today, 59 degrees with an overnight low of 35. It feels like 40 degrees. So it is 40, and it feels like 40. You know what's so irritating for me? When it's like, it's 50 degrees, feels like 39. How does that make sense? Wouldn't it then be 39 degrees? This is why, you know what? We need to bring on a meteorologist on the show. Someone from one of the local TV networks here. I don't care which one. I don't have preferences. I don't have favorites. I feel like we need to get a meteorologist on to explain all of my questions.
I mean, yeah, it's a segment on the show, technically. We talk about
it's
the
a
weather.
true segment,
Yeah.
and I need to understand what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So it's educational.
And
we can talk about sports. We can be like, hey, man, it rains during sports, right? Like, boom, we covered it.
We can find a way to do it.
Yeah.
I would say it's the wind chill factor, right? That's why it feels like that.
Oh, yeah, it's the wind chill. Yeah, it's the wind and then the cold with the wind. But then I go, yeah, but then isn't it still 39 degrees? Like, it's still technically 39.
Well, no, it's 50. It just feels like it's 39.
That's what I'm saying.
It's like how the outside of your Hot Pocket is like 75, but the inside's still ice cold.
You know, I haven't eaten one in a really long time, so...
You know what happens, though.
Before we get there, every weather report is brought to you by Lee's Air Plumbing and Heating. Lee's Air Maintenance, have an issue, call our friends at Lee's Air. With all that being said, I don't want them wrapped up into what we were about to talk about, right?
Good call.
I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to go into it and then be like, yeah, that segment was brought to you in part by Lee's Air Plumbing and Heating.
The nonsense is ours.
I don't think they want to be involved in our Hot Pocket discussion. Are you the kind of guy, and I would like to know if wife is too, and do you wait? Do you immediately go? If it's a Hot Pocket, what if it's something that was given to you and they tell you right off the bat, you go to a restaurant, right? Off the bat, they give it to you and they go, it's hot. It's hot. Are you going in right away, or are you taking some time? Are you taking a moment? Are you thinking about it and going, you know what? It'd be smart to just go, you know, just right?
Yeah.
And then I'm good to go. What kind of guy are you?
In public, I take a moment because I don't
Okay,
want to
in
look
public
like an
because you don't want to
animal.
go right everywhere. You know, just the whole thing. You don't want to do that everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah. At home, I am as impatient as I could possibly be. So I usually take a bite and just suffer for a little bit and then let the heat escape from the bite that I took, and I'm good.
So for me, I am a man that loves to live in dangerous ways. I do not care what it is.
Danger's my middle name.
It can be soup that is extremely hot.
See, soup is different. I look at that and I fully understand.
Menudo, pozole, mole, chicken soup, beef soup, albondiga soup. I don't care. I will see all of the steam coming out of that plate.
And you go, I can handle it.
And I'm going. It does not matter. I love to live on the edge in this circumstance. It doesn't matter what the food product is. And my wife will attest to this. I will go. I am her food taster. I taste it, and then I go, she goes, is it too hot? And I said, it is right for me. It's too hot for you. She knows if it's good for me, it's still too hot for her.
So knowing full well that's who you are, and you like to live dangerously.
Yeah.
Do you still bite it and go, it's hot, it's hot?
No.
Okay, as long as you don't say it.
No
Okay.
complaints. Unless it is hotter than hot. Like, unless it's an extra level where I did burn my mouth.
Yeah.
Because the majority of the time, I don't know why I can eat really hot things. Like, I don't know what it is, but I can. And when I get to that extra step where maybe it's like that burning hot, then I go, oh, whoa, mistake. And I just go, mistake. I just say I made a mistake. Okay. Like, I don't go into this whole thing. I just go, oh, I made a mistake. Oh, it's too hot. It is too hot. I'm going to take a second. Here. But, yeah, like the wife can't do nothing hot. It has to, it's like, to her, hot is slightly above lukewarm, which is insane to me. Like, I love my things hot.
Yeah. I
cannot, like, if I'm drinking tea, the kettle was just whistling, and I'm drinking it.
I've witnessed that.
Here you go. Pour it down. It's just what I do. It's just how I do it. The wife waits 15 minutes. I'm like, that's cold. It's already cold. It's not even tea anymore.
It's when I make dinner at home, and I'm like, all right, dinner's done. Like, come get it. It's gotten to the point now where I serve her because I'm like, you wait too long. So I'm like, no. You don't need to let it cool down. I got it where it needs to be.
Now,
just come and eat.
There's an added thing because that reminded me. I didn't know people did this, and the question is, do you put your hot food in the freezer for a second to cool it down? Is that a norm for you?
Excuse me? What did you just say to me? That's a thing?
Apparently, that's a thing.
What?
My sister-in-law did it. She put something in for my niece, right? She put something in there, and I go, "What are you doing?" She's like, "It's too hot." So you put it in the freezer?
You flash freeze it?
Yeah, and she's like, "Yeah." And then my wife goes, "Yeah, we used to do that as kids." And it's like, what family did I marry into? What is this psychopathic thing that people are doing in putting their hot food in the freezer?
I see how it makes sense because if you want it like now and you want it to cool down quicker, that's a smart way to do it. But yeah, that's not I don't think that's a normal thing.
It ruins the food to me.
I'm on your side of that one. That's just, it's weird.
I want to know if there's more crazies out there.
Well, if you want,
that might
if
be
you
a
want
tweet.
them to respond to you, I don't know if you refer to them as crazies.
If you listen to the Jose Gonzalez show, I think I'm gonna have to tweet this. I'm gonna have to.
No, that's
it's already, it's in my head. I want to know if there are more people out there right now driving. Go, yeah, I put it in the freezer. Gonzo, it's normal. It's easy. Everybody does it. First of all, no. Second of all, it just seems like it's taking up my time, right? I'm all about time here.
Yeah.
And I do things very quickly.
And I'm told, just let it sit out.
Just people aren't patient and don't want to do it. So
freeze it.
These four teams in the playoffs, you have the Philadelphia Eagles, the Kansas City Chiefs, the Cincinnati Bengals, and the best team of all time, San Francisco 49ers. Those are all the teams that are in the playoffs this year. When you look at this, are these the four teams we're going to see in this position, or a variation of at least three of these four teams in this position every year? Because we are now right back where we were last season. The only difference here is the Philadelphia Eagles. The constant here is the San Francisco 49ers, the Kansas City Chiefs, and the Cincinnati Bengals. And if you look just a few years ago, the 49ers and the Chiefs were right back in these positions in a conference championship. The Chiefs have been there. They've done that. They're constantly, and Patrick Mahomes has done it on a consistent basis and has a streak of doing it. The 49ers have been there now 3 of the last 4 years. Are these the 4 teams that, in a variation of them, we will see for the next 5 years in the conference championship? Bengals, Chiefs, Niners, Eagles.
I'm completely comfortable in saying yes. I lean a little more to the AFC is going to be the more consistent side because those 2 teams are just absolutely dominant. But, yeah, like I said, Niners been there 3 of the last 4 years. The Eagles, we can officially say, have put it together when at the beginning of the season I thought Jalen Hurts was going to be out of a job by the end of the year. Yeah, I think there'll be some variation of these 4.
And the insanity is how young all the, like, regardless of where the 49ers go, I will be very straightforward and very honest. If it's Trey Lance, they will be right back here. If it's Brock Purdy, they'll be right back here. I feel the same way about both of these quarterbacks. Now, I feel like with the Kyle Shanahan system and the offense that they have put in place, that either one of those 2 quarterbacks can be successful offensively with this team. Yeah. There's no worry to me. Regardless of whichever one it is, that means the next 5 years they have a constant at quarterback. The Eagles, Jalen Hurts, there was a question marks about Hurts going into the season. Those question marks have been answered, but let's be very straightforward. The way Jalen Hurts plays is the way Josh Allen plays, and we know that that is injury prone. That is usually what's going to happen any sort of year. You're going to get hurt. How hurt? That's still a question. Jalen Hurts goes through an injury this year with the shoulder sprain to the left shoulder, non-throwing shoulder that he has. So we at least, I think, know that there's one guy with one team that could be the question mark, and that is the Eagles, because they are truly dependent on Jalen Hurts. Without Jalen Hurts, they don't go as far as they go. Right? With Gardner Minshew leading the team, it's not like Brock Purdy having stepped up as a third-string quarterback and leading the San Francisco or helping the San Francisco 49ers to an NFC championship game. If Jalen Hurts isn't there, Gardner Minshew is not helping lead the Philadelphia Eagles to an NFC championship game. That's just not going to happen. There is a reason why the Eagles, with 3 games left to play in the season, all they had to do was win 1, and we're down to the last game of the season for a need and a must-win, or else the San Francisco 49ers were going to have the number 1 overall seed because Jalen Hurts wasn't there. So I think the only caveat to it is the Philadelphia Eagles, but a variation of these 4, I think, is a constant. I think one year we might get the Bengals not in there, and we'll get the Jags or the Chargers or one of those teams with the younger quarterbacks. I think one year maybe the Niners won't be in there, but we're going to get a younger team, younger quarterback, those kind of things. But right now in the NFC, there's no one that absolutely scares me to compete with the San Francisco 49ers for a title. There is no one. I don't look at the Los Angeles Rams and say they can compete. I don't look at the Seattle Seahawks and think they can compete. Maybe they might be a little bit better if Geno Smith has another year under his belt. I don't think so. I think he's going to regress next year. The Arizona Cardinals, I think they'll make the playoffs, but I don't think they're good enough. I look around the NFC and look at the NFC South. That's atrocious. No one cares about the NFC South. They're not competing for a Super Bowl. You look up to the NFC North. Chicago Bears, they're a ways away. The Detroit Lions, yeah, they might be competitive, but I don't think they're Super Bowl worthy. The Green Bay Packers aren't worthy. The Minnesota Vikings aren't worthy. You look at the NFC East. Dallas Cowboys aren't worthy. The New York Giants aren't worthy. The Washington Commanders aren't worthy. There is no real competition right now in the NFC that makes me believe they will knock the 49ers and the Philadelphia Eagles off their perch right now. There just isn't. There's no quarterback out there that would take any team. Now, if Aaron Rodgers goes to the right situation, right, he leaves Green Bay and goes to the right situation, then maybe I see that happening. If Tom Brady leaves and goes to another NFC team, then maybe. But he's probably leaving for Las Vegas if he goes anywhere, right? That's the thought, is if he goes anywhere, he's going to Las Vegas to play for the Raiders. So there is going to be competition in the AFC side, and I think Tom Brady would be absolutely stupid to leave the NFC to go to the AFC. That would be the dumbest move. You're going into a conference with Josh Allen, with Patrick Mahomes, with Joe Burrow, with Justin Herbert, with Trevor Lawrence. That's what you're going to do? You're going to get into that conference where they have a bunch of young guys. Now, Lamar Jackson, we don't know if he's going to be a Baltimore Raven, but Lamar Jackson there too? Like, you look across the AFC. I know Deshaun Watson was bad this past year, but Deshaun Watson looked better at the end of the season. He had been out of football for almost 2 years. So think about that. Even Deshaun Watson is in that conference. Tom Brady would be utterly stupid to leave Tampa Bay or leave the NFC for an AFC team. That is a fact, because 100%. The Raiders aren't winning a Super Bowl with Tom Brady as the only change to their team. So when you look around, isn't it time for Tom Brady to walk away? Isn't now the moment for you to leave and get out of football? And I don't know, whatever, you're going to go into the broadcast booth, right? You're going to go into the broadcast booth. By the way, Greg Olsen has been absolutely amazing. Like, I know there are some people that don't like him, but his analysis is actually really good. And he's going to be thrown back to number 2 in that spot, and they're going to put Tom Brady in the number 1 chair, which is a little upsetting, but maybe Greg Olsen might find his way to Amazon Prime, because Kurt Herbstreit, he's good at college football. I didn't enjoy him as much in the NFL conversation because it doesn't translate that well. It doesn't go that well. So isn't it time for Tom Brady to walk away? Isn't it time for the old guys to walk away? It just feels like these guys are holding on for dear life to their quarterback, to their QB1 spot. And it's being held for them because they have the history, they have the pedigree, they have everything going for them that of course a team is going to be, yeah, absolutely, we'll give you a shot. But aren't these guys feeling a whole lot like Brett Favre at the end of his career, where he just wants to keep playing and everybody's like, yeah, okay, we'll continue to let you play? They're going to be okay. They might make the playoffs. They might actually win a playoff game, but they're not Super Bowl worthy anymore. Isn't it time for these guys to walk away and give the young guys an opportunity at starting quarterback positions in the NFL because they're not winning Super Bowls?
I mean, with Rodgers' situation, I think I understand a little more because he was coming off of back-to-back MVPs. For Tom, everything that's happened the last couple of years, absolutely, it's time to walk away. His situation is very different, though, because he doesn't have a young guy right behind him who's missing reps as a starting quarterback. So I don't want to say I get what he's doing, because I really don't, because he is just so old, and literally the whole family thing, the way this season's going, he is consistently just more upset with his teammates seemingly every day. Like, you don't look like you're enjoying it and having fun. Aaron Rodgers is still at least kind of weird and can make it fun for himself, and still seemingly compete at a decent level, again, depending on the situation that he goes to. But, yeah, after next year, for sure, they should both be done. Just let it go. You guys were great. You're going to be up there when people talk about great quarterbacks long after you're gone. Even you guys will, your 2 names will still be up there. Your legacy cemented. You can walk away now. It's okay.
So I'm with you. I think that Tom Brady more than Aaron Rodgers, but I'm just ready to not see both of them. I'm just ready to not see both of those quarterbacks, because not because they're not great. I love Tom Brady and I love Aaron Rodgers for what they brought to the game of football.
Yeah.
But it's time for them to move on. We can't get to the next crop of guys when we're constantly talking about the old guys and where they're going to go. I like, someone asked me, right, where do I think Aaron Rodgers goes? And I said, I think we're going to have a full 6 months or whatever the amount of offseason is of conversation about where Aaron Rodgers could potentially go, how Aaron Rodgers looks, why does Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers. What do trade packages look for Aaron Rodgers? And then at the end of the day, Aaron Rodgers will stay a Green Bay Packer, and his dead cap and his space is all too much. He's not going to go anywhere. No one wants to take up that contract. I know Aaron Rodgers can still probably be good, but Aaron Rodgers isn't the same anymore. Aaron Rodgers isn't that guy anymore. So I think that has something to do with it for me in thinking that those guys should maybe decide that they want to or they should retire. So I did want to go into that a little bit here and have that conversation for a quick moment. So from that, I do want to talk about one guy, and that is Andy Reid. Does Andy Reid get the credit he deserves? Because, Chris Collinsworth is obviously the biggest Patrick Mahomes fan we've ever seen on the face of the earth. But do we give Andy Reid sufficient amount of credit for the game plans and everything he has done to put Patrick Mahomes in an absolute great position to succeed?
Do we give him the credit? No. Obviously, everyone constantly gives Patrick Mahomes the credit. I think it shouldn't be part of being a coach, but I feel like it is sometimes. We don't give them their credit until they're done or until they've left that place, wherever they were. Then it's time to talk about the coach. But while they're there, it's all about the players, and especially if you have a superstar quarterback like Patrick Mahomes, it's going to be all about him. So, no, he absolutely does not get the credit that he deserves. But it seems like it's kind of part of the job in the NFL when you're a coach.
Yeah, but see, the irritating for me and the annoying thing for me when it comes to that conversation, it isn't that they don't get enough credit. It is that somehow we think about quarterbacks like an entity of themselves. Right, we think of quarterbacks like a person that does everything by himself. When he succeeds, when he doesn't succeed, we then look at the coaching.
Yep.
And then we criticize the coaching, and that's where we then go. We go, well, then the coach is not putting him in the best position to succeed. But when he does, we talk about how great Patrick Mahomes' arm is. We talk about how great a lot of these people are. Like, that's what we do when this happens. So for me, we should look at Andy Reid, who is top in all-time wins. He's not the most with that's Don Shula, and I don't know if anybody's ever going to catch Don Shula 25 years with the Miami Dolphins. But Andy Reid is one of the best head coaches ever, and we never have that discussion. Right? He was successful with the Philadelphia Eagles. He got to Super Bowls with the Philadelphia Eagles. He had Donovan McNabb and made Donovan McNabb look like a household name. Donovan McNabb looked like a top 5 quarterback at the time he was with Andy Reid. Right? Like, at the time, he looked that good. So why is it that Andy Reid goes and makes the Philadelphia Eagles successful? They then fire him. They go in a different direction. They're not successful until recently with Doug Peterson. They fired Doug. They go to Sirianni now, and they're being successful again. But there was a lot of losing in between Andy Reid. Andy Reid leaves Philadelphia, takes over Kansas City, and instantly successful. Instantly. With Alex Smith at quarterback, they then go and move to Patrick Mahomes, who can win a Super Bowl, and bada boom, bada bing, there we go. We're there. Right? And Andy Reid has been absolutely successful. Absolutely successful. And so you look at those, and you look at how that shapes up, and you look at Andy Reid and say he does not get sufficient amount of credit for what he does, what he has done, and what he will do. If he wins another Super Bowl, there is no argument, right? He would then have now 2 Super Bowls. But if he doesn't, then, we'll look at other things. There's a stat that I saw that is actually absolutely insane. Patrick Mahomes, you know who his career simulates to, or it looks so similar to the most? Whose career, in the first 5 years of his career, who it actually is very similar to? It's a difficult answer.
Just to give me a hint, did the quarterback that it most
his quarterback
mirrors,
won a Super Bowl earlier in his career?
Did he play in the 2000s?
Did he play when?
The 2000s.
Yes.
Okay, that eliminates at least most of the NFL. I don't need to go so far back with. Ben Roethlisberger?
No. He is very similar to the beginning of the career of Joe Flacco.
Dang it. That was going to be my next one because he said
Joe
early in his
Flacco
career.
won Super Bowl early in his career. And the first 5 years of his career is very similar to the first 5 years of Patrick Mahomes' career. Touchdowns, passing yards, win-loss record, all of that is it's eerily, it's uncomfortably similar to Patrick Mahomes, Joe Flacco. So you talk about how successful Joe Flacco was earlier on in his career. We never talked about we never talked about him being Tom Brady great.
No.
But Patrick Mahomes is getting that. Does he get to a Super Bowl? And if he doesn't, are we going to start having the uncomfortable conversation?
Patrick enjoyed being the quarterback of third-string quarterback of the New York Jets, and
I'm just saying, we're going to have an uncomfortable conversation if that's the point we get to. So, with all that being said, appreciate every single one of you for tuning in to us. I want to remind you, you can go to our YouTube channel at 1430 ESPN Fresno. You can also follow us on all social media at 1430 ESPN. You can also go and download the app, 1430 ESPN Fresno. You can go to the website, 1430ESPNFresno.com. Appreciate every single one of you for joining us. Appreciate every single one of you for tuning in and listening to the show. Coming up here, it is a first-time guest to the Jose Gonzalez Show, and as we get ready here, that is Mike Gill, pardon me. He is of ESPN New Jersey, and he's going to join us to talk about the Philadelphia Eagles and how they are positioned and how they look towards a potential Super Bowl appearance. We talked to Mike Gill about the Philadelphia Eagles when we come back. You're listening to the Jose Gonzalez Show.
Listening to locally owned 1430 ESPN. Start your right. Beginning at 10 a.m., the Central Valley Sports Report with Paul Meadors. Live from First String Sports. Paul has you covered with guests and scores from around the Central section. Your mornings will never be the same. Listen on the website or by downloading the app. Pour your cup of coffee and listen to the Central Valley Sports Report with Paul Meadors. Live from First String Sports on your Valley's local sports leader, 1430 ESPN.
Our philosophy on business is really straightforward. It's really working inside out through the customer's eyes. Fresno First Bank is really that way so that they understand our business, to the nth detail, and that really separates them from the pack. If you're looking for the definitive banking experience where they are going to treat you like family, personalizing the banking procedures and meeting your needs, you've got to go to Fresno First Bank.
Hey, this is Pat Hill, inviting you to stop by Nick's Custom Golf Carts and Utility Vehicles. You gotta see the selection of vehicles from Club Car, including the new Onward and Carryall models. Club Car, the world's best vehicles for personal, commercial, and golf use. Plus, Nick's has used carts, utility vehicles, and refurbished carts. See the selection at nicksgolfcarts.com. And if you need your cart or utility vehicle, Nick's will take care of you. Nick's Custom Golf Carts and Utility Vehicles at Ashland and Valentine.
Hungry? Visit the Chicken Shack. Voted the best chicken fingers and wings in Central California. Grab in store or order ahead of time your fresh, never frozen chicken. Get them sauced and tossed with over 30 sauces and rubs to choose from. Not in the mood for delicious chicken? That's okay. We have a variety of salads and our Shack burgers slap. Don't forget about Old Reliable and the always satisfying buffalo chicken fries. Get them and more at one of our 5 locations around Fresno. You're never too far from the Chicken Shack. Order online at thechickenShackCA.com or come in today.
What keeps you up at night? If you're a CEO, it's probably cybercrime. If you've ever been the victim of ransomware, phishing scams, and computer viruses, they are the most persistent and deadly threats that a business owner faces in today's e-commerce environment. Don't fall victim to cybercrime. Get to know M-Cubed Technologies. Nobody hates cybercrime more than the geeks at M-Cubed. Rest easy. Call M-Cubed Technologies and sleep tight. The Valley's premier IT and cybersecurity answer.
JR Sports, your locally owned sports megastore, has your back this football season. Find the biggest selection of Bulldogs, Niners, Raiders, and Super Bowl champion Rams gear at JR Sports. Come get your new favorite hats, jerseys, and so much more to turn you into the super fan you know you are. Represent your team loud and proud no matter who you root for. Visit our Fresno or Clovis stores to see the latest gear from the NFL or visit our website at shopjrsports.com. JR Sports, ramming over the competition.
Don't miss out on money back in your pocket this new year. Get to the 2023 season sales event now at Selma Kia, part of the award-winning Selma Auto Mall. Get a $500 rebate on the all-new 2023 Kia Soul or a $500 rebate on the new 2023 Kia Forte. Inventory arriving daily. Reserve your brand new Kia online at selmakia.com. No matter the season, all new Kias come with the exclusive 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty. Got a trade? Get an instant cash offer in minutes or customize your payments at selmakia.com. $500 rebate available to all buyers. Must finance through Kia Financial. Unapproved credit through Kia Financial. Prices do not include government fees and taxes. Any finance charge, any dealer document processing charge, any electronic filing charge, and any emissions testing charge. Take new retail delivery from dealer stock by 2/28/2023. See Selma Kia for details. Get to the 2023 season sales event today at Selma Kia inside the massive Selma Auto Mall of Highway 99 and Highway 43 in Selma.
Every weekday, tune in to Sportsline, the Bulldog Hour, brought to you in part by Clausen Honda and Clausen Truck Center. Beginning at 2 p.m., the trusted local voice of Tony D attacks all of the hot topics surrounding Fresno State athletics. Listen on the website or download the app. Listen to guests with all the Bulldog insight, like Jackson Moore, Ralph Wood, Paul Leffler, and many more. Tune in beginning at 2 p.m. every weekday on your Central Valley's local sports leader, 1430 ESPN.
Your company probably works with a lawyer when you have legal issues, right?
Yeah.
And a CPA to handle your financials and taxes.
Of course.
Yeah. For some things, it just makes sense to work with specialists. You wouldn't want Sue in HR spending her day on trying to fix the plumbing.
Exactly.
So you're probably working with specialists to handle your company's 401k plan, too.
Actually, we've got Sue in HR trying to figure that out.
Maybe it's time to work with 401k specialists, a division of Thiessen-Duker Financial Consulting Group devoted entirely to making life easier for group plan sponsors. Group 401k plans are all they do, and they handle all the legwork. So the only thing you need to know about your 401k is their phone number. 559-777-2720. That's 559-777-2720.
The advisors of Thiessen-Duker Financial Consulting Group are registered representatives with and securities offered through LPL Financial, member FINRA SIPC.
Every January for 6 decades, Fashion Furniture has hosted the single largest furniture clearance sale in Central California. All the best names like Flex Steel, Bassett, Southern Motion, and Michael Nicholas at savings of 20, 30, even 40%. Plus 0% financing on every recliner, sofa, love seat, dining room, office, and youth furniture, and more. One-of-a-kind items up to 50% off. The 63rd annual January clearance at Fashion Furniture across from River Park. There's nothing like it in all of California.
The Jose Gonzalez Show on 1430 ESPN.
The Jose Gonzalez Show, Monday through Thursday, 7 a.m. and on Fridays beginning at noon here on your local sports leader, 1430 ESPN. And a good morning to all of you here in the city of Fresno, California. And, of course, all across the state and, of course, all across the country. Make sure to follow us on social media at 1430 ESPN on Twitter, Instagram, and on Facebook. Make sure to go and download the app 1430 ESPN Fresno or the website 1430ESPNFresno.com. With all that being said, I definitely am excited about this conversation. We're going to talk some Philadelphia Eagles in terms of them headed into the NFC Championship game, and they will be taking on the San Francisco 49ers in a very, very anticipated matchup. To talk about the Philadelphia Eagles, we have Mike Gill. He is host of the Sports Bash over there on 97.3 ESPN in New Jersey. He's also host of the Believe in Eagles podcast on the Believe Network. That is Mike Gill. He joins me now. Mike, I greatly appreciate you taking the time today.
Yeah, anytime, man. We're excited about being in the NFC Championship game for the 7th time since the Cowboys have last been in.
Yeah, well, the Cowboys don't even know what championships are anymore, right?
That's right. Yeah. No, it's this is the second time the Eagles have been here in 5 years, and they actually made it to this game 5 years ago by the same exact score on the same exact date. So there's a lot of synergy going with that 2017 team.
Yeah, the lucky thing for a lot of 49er fans was it's not a backup quarterback in for the Philadelphia Eagles. That's one of the differences, right?
Well, oddly, no, he's not a backup quarterback now, but when he was drafted, he was drafted to be the backup for Carson Wentz, and that fell apart. And let me tell you, people weren't sure about Jalen Hurts after last season. There was a lot of people here that wanted Russell Wilson, or even to get into the Deshaun Watson conversations, or if Aaron Rodgers was going to get traded. A lot of Eagles fans were ready to move on from Hurts. They saw enough and said, this is not the guy. He has won them over. I mean, he has absolutely won the fans over. He started out as a backup.
He did start off as a backup, and we're talking to Mike Gill. He is out there in New Jersey. And, Mike, I want to talk about how this team has gotten to this point. They went all in on winning this season, and with the uncertainty of what Jalen Hurts could be on the outside. I believe they knew what they had on the inside. But for you, do you think a Super Bowl appearance is the objective here, and to not feel like this season was a bust? Or do you think them getting to this point right now with everything they've done to get here, it's already at least that victory, and it's not going to be looked at as, okay, well, you went all in and you didn't get a Super Bowl?
No, this team went to the playoffs last year, exceeded a lot of people's expectations. That was a surprise to the fans, but I think the organization felt, all right, they had a 4-win season 2 years ago with the Wentz whole situation. They moved on from Wentz. They brought Hurts in. They saw enough from Hurts last year to then invest in him, meaning go get A.J. Brown, go get him somebody that can take this offense. Because last year the offense was very run-centric. This year they can run the ball better than probably anybody else in the league. They've leaned heavily on the ground game. They're the 9th highest design rush team in the NFL. So this team likes to run, but they didn't have an A.J. Brown last year, so they went and got him, and then that's the move that really put this offense over the top. But to look back at, do they want to make the Super Bowl, or is this a success? This window is now. They have 20 unrestricted free agents, with many of those guys on defense: James Bradbury, Javon Hargrave, T.J. Edwards, Kaiser White, Epps, the safety, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. He's a free agent. Brandon Graham, Fletcher Cox. They have to win right now with this bunch.
We're talking to Mike Gill, ESPN New Jersey, and Mike. When you talk about them having to win now, I asked a question earlier, and I know I'm getting a little bit away from the Eagles and Niner game, but I asked a question to my producer earlier, and that is these 4 teams that are in the playoffs right now. You look at the Cincinnati Bengals, the Kansas City Chiefs on the AFC side, and the 49ers and the Philadelphia Eagles on the NFC side. And I know I might be looking a little bit too far ahead, but doesn't it feel like these are combinations we might be getting for the next foreseeable future, for the next 5 years? It's a combination of the Eagles against somebody, the Niners against somebody, the Chiefs against somebody, the Bengals against somebody. That just doesn't it feel like that's the combination we will get the most out of the next 5 to 8 years?
Yeah, well, on the AFC side, no question. Mahomes, Burrow, that almost gives you a ticket to get this far. The NFC side, I think Jalen Hurts has pretty much become the guy in the NFC. Now, San Francisco, Don't know if I have the answer to that. I think the team around Brock Purdy looks fantastic. But is Brock Purdy the guy? Are they going to go back to Trey Lance? Is Garoppolo still in the mix there? I think they have major offseason question marks about the quarterback. Now, if they stick with Purdy, is Purdy a one-year wonder? Is he the guy? I ask on my show, every 20 years or so, there seems to be a story that comes out of nowhere. Are we seeing the beginning of the Brock Purdy story? Is this the follow-up to the Brady story 22 years ago, where this guy just came out of nowhere and became a great? I don't know. If he wins this game on Sunday, he will be the first rookie quarterback to go to the Super Bowl. No rookie quarterback has won 3 straight games in the playoffs. So what are we watching with this guy here? He's made 5 starts in the regular season, and only 2 quarterbacks have started a Super Bowl with as little experience as he has. I mean, so this is an unbelievable story. So does he have the is he sticky? Is he going to stick around and bring this team back to this spot for the next 3, 4, 5 years? I think that is a really fascinating question of what San Francisco does following this year with the quarterback position to get them where you're talking about, a consistent championship-level team.
And so, Mike, when I look at the Philadelphia Eagles and I look at the San Francisco 49ers, one of the things that worries me about the 49ers quite a bit, and something that I don't think the Dallas Cowboys were able to exploit in that very, very, very contentious matchup, is that the 49ers going deep, meaning their DBs, they get beat quite a bit. We saw it in the wild card round with Seattle. DK Metcalf beat them over the top a couple of times, beat their number one corner in Travarius Ward on one of those touchdowns that he caught on a long, long way. The Eagles do a really good job of throwing the football down the field with A.J. Brown, with Devontae Smith. Those two guys are absolute threats going down the field and scoring on a big play. When you see that the Eagles do that really well, to me, one of the issues for the San Francisco 49ers, one of the worries that I have of the San Francisco 49ers is how they defend the deep ball. Is that something that you think is going to be very critical in this game if Jalen Hurts can make that throw over the top and kind of bust open that defense for the 49ers?
Absolutely. Jalen Hurts, 3rd in QBR in passing touchdowns on 20-yard passes or more. Of his touchdown passes this year, the average air yards is 31 yards. When he throws for touchdowns, they go down the field. Passing touchdowns, Jalen Hurts down the field, 20 or more yards, he is first in the NFL. San Francisco is tied for 25th in giving up that play. If the Eagles are going to score, it's big plays, and I agree. A.J. Brown, if the Niners want to try to take him out, they'll go to Devonta Smith. If they want to try to take him out, they got Dallas Goedert, and they've got a 3-prong, and they even have the slot guy, Quez Watkins, who's really a big play guy. He'll be the guy who hits the seams and gets those yards, and he gets a touchdown, a deep one, once every 5 weeks. But when he gets it, it's really a surprise. So these are the kind of weeks where they find a secondary that has a weakness, and they go after it. But if the Eagles score, it's because of the big play. And this is, you're right, the perfect defense to match up with in that situation. Because the Eagles, look, what makes them very dynamic is last week they ran 44 times for 268 yards. They can beat you on the ground. But the Niners are very good against the run. So if you're stopping the run, they have a very good aerial attack, the best in the league. When it goes down the field, they can do that as well.
Now, one of the things that the 49ers do absolutely well is run the football. And one of the stats that a lot of people are pointing out is that the Philadelphia Eagles have not been as great at stopping the run, that they sell out. They love the pass rush, and they love getting to the quarterback. There's a reason why they have about 80 sacks on the season, and there's a reason why they do get to the quarterback because, that's a point of emphasis for them. What do you see? To me, I see the Eagles being a team that their strengths are the 49ers' weaknesses, and the 49ers' strengths on offense is the Philadelphia Eagles' weakness. Do you see it that way, or do you see it a little bit differently?
Yeah, I mean, the Eagles have obviously, you're right. Their struggle is against the run. The one game they lost this year, and I say the one game, with Jalen Hurts. The other 2 games they lost with Gardner Minshew.
Winnable games. Those were winnable.
Yeah, Minshew put up 30 points. They just did not play well defensively in the game against Dallas. It was just one of those games. You have it. 49ers had a bad defensive effort against the Raiders. It happens. But the one game they lost this year with Jalen Hurts, they turned the ball over a lot, which is very uncharacteristic. But what was even more uncharacteristic was they got gashed on the ground. And I'll give Washington credit that night. They stuck with the run. They didn't have a great yards per carry, but they just kept doing it. They ran the ball 50 times for like 3.4 yards a carry, but they just kept getting 3 yards and 3 yards to where they were in third down and makeable all night long, and the Eagles defense just could not get off the field. So if San Francisco is willing to kind of grind it out and get 3 yards, it's 4 yards, and 3 yards, I think that's their – I think for San Francisco to win this game, it's much like the Dallas game. It's a fight, it's ugly, and they just kind of wait for Purdy to make a play, hopefully not make a mistake. If Philly wins, I think it's because their offense, you watch a lot of these AFC or NFC championship games, and you're so anticipating these great matchups. And a lot of times they don't live up to the hype because one team just rips the heart out, and you work so hard, you get to that game, and when the game unravels from you, the next thing you know, you look up at the scoreboard, and you're getting blown out. I wouldn't be surprised if San Francisco won and it was very close, like low scoring, or if Philadelphia won and it was a runaway. Because I think the Eagles can score, but if San Francisco gets stops and they run the ball and they're willing to stick with the run, that keeps the game close and kind of grimy.
Now, when you look at the Philadelphia Eagles in Miles Sanders, he has been having himself a pretty good year, and add in the caveat of what Jalen Hurts can do on the run. One of the things that I've seen over the course of the last couple of years under Kyle Shanahan for the San Francisco 49ers is an ability of not being able to stop the running quarterback. Do you think that, or better said, is Jalen Hurts healthy enough to make sure that he is able to move and run the football? Because that is right now, to me, one of the things to watch, because the 49ers struggle against Kyler Murray on a consistent basis. They can't catch the guy, and that's why those games are always as entertaining as it gets. Do you think Jalen Hurts and the offense, not only wanting to stretch the field and throw it deep down the field, but being able to run with Jalen Hurts can be a very critical moment for them?
Yeah, I mean, Hurts last week, 9 carries, not a great yards per carry. I mean, he's had much bigger gains, but I think he showed that he's healthy. And now we're looking at, he got hurt. That was a game against Chicago way back. You're going to December 18th. I mean, Christmas wasn't even here yet. So you're looking about 6 weeks since that injury. I think he aired it out last week. You saw him throw the ball down the field. He ran the ball 9 times. He took a couple of hits. I don't think that that's going to be an issue. And as you mentioned, I think the Eagles will certainly have this team well scouted. They have a very good coaching staff to say, look, this is a game where we're going to need you. Because he has had games, the game against Chicago, when he ended up getting hurt, he ran the ball 17 times in that game. What has made Jalen Hurts an MVP candidate, he makes the right decision almost every single time. This guy is next level in preparation. He knows when the end crashes. He knows when to give it. He knows when to keep it. They scheme so well in the middle of the line. When we talk football a lot, we talk skill players. We might even talk about tackles and protecting. But where the Eagles are really tough is Jason Kelsey, Landon Dickerson, and Isaac Seumalo, the 3 guys in the interior of the line. And they win games. They beat the Giants last week because the interior of the line got whipped. And the Eagles ran for, get this number, they ran for 268 yards, 44 carries. They averaged 4.5 yards per carry before the running back got touched last week. That's unbelievable. You're getting 4 yards before anybody's making contact with you because they win in the middle of the line. I think this game is won up front in the interior. Can the wide 9 of the Niners get their up-the-middle pass rush? Because that's where the Eagles have an advantage, I think, with Kelsey, Dickerson, and Seumalo. Those guys are very good at doubling in the middle. Kelsey gets hands on you, and he will pull out and get to the second level and lead the sweeps. So that's why this run game is very difficult, and it's all led by Jalen Hurts, and I wouldn't be surprised if he had 10 to 12 carries.
What about the pass rush of the Philadelphia Eagles? Because we saw a great game plan from Dan Quinn in making Brock Purdy move to his left quite often. And every time he moved to his left, it seemed to be either an incomplete pass or a ball that was thrown away, or you just kind of tuck it and make sure you just don't lose many yards. The pass rush for the Philadelphia Eagles, are they capable to maybe look? We know they can get to the quarterback, and that's not where I'm going with this. Do you think that the game plan is going to be similar of that of the Dallas Cowboys to say, hey, look, if we move Brock Purdy to his left more times than not, he's not going to be able to find his guy because he is not doing very well going left? Do you think the emphasis for the Philadelphia Eagles defense is to make sure Brock Purdy never gets comfortable because the rookie looks cool, calm, and collected, but there are those moments that we've seen from him where if defenses get to him enough, he starts getting a little panicky?
Yeah, and the Eagles last week, they played a team in the Giants who don't take a lot of shots down the field. Everything is kind of, slants and nickel and diming way, and the Eagles sat on those slants, and they got tremendous pass rush. The matchup for me, I think Trent Williams is outstanding. Him and Sweat. Sweat's very good, but Williams is maybe the best, if not the best, in the league right now. It's McGlinchey. Last week, Reddick tortured Evan Neal. Tortured him. McGlinchey step up from Neal, I think. But I don't know, man. If you look at Reddick, the way he's playing, he was the defensive player of the month, and he rushes from that right side. He's going to be able, if he gets pressure, to get Purdy moving to the left there. So the Eagles will go a lot of one-on-one on that outside. I think the Reddick-McGlinchey matchup is a huge factor in how John Gannon calls, because if he can get pressure, he does not want to blitz. The Eagles blitz about 22% of the time, very low, bottom of the pack. Their secondary is outstanding. They led the league in turnovers. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson led the league in interceptions, and he missed 5 games. They get so much pressure because they have 4 guys with double-digit sacks. But to me, Hargrave in the middle, that's a big one there. He obviously, I think Aaron Banks is going to have an interesting matchup there. But McGlinchey versus Reddick could be the difference in the game for San Francisco.
Mike Gill, he is host of the Believe in Eagles podcast on the Believe Network, as well as a host on ESPN New Jersey. Mike, I greatly appreciate you taking the time to talk about the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, before I let you go, I do have to ask you, I know you're probably leaning Eagles, but how far is that lean?
Yeah, I think Philadelphia's been the best team all year. I think San Francisco has been a great story. I like to, it's funny. At the beginning of the year, I do a segment on my show called Who's In, Who's Out, where we pick each week who we think is going to make the playoffs. With Trey Lance, I was not a Trey Lance guy at all. I did not have San Francisco as a playoff team with Lance. When they brought when he went out and Garoppolo went back in, I jumped back on the Niner wagon. With Purdy, I still have liked this team a lot, but in the end, Philadelphia played Minnesota here 5 years ago. Minnesota 13-3. Great year, but they had Case Keenum. And finally, Case Keenum turned into Case Keenum. I think Purdy finally has a moment where it's just too big. The NFC Championship game in Philadelphia. And I think in the end, it's the style that I talked about. I think Philadelphia ends up winning, and it snowballs. And at the end, we look up at that scoreboard and said, oh, my gosh, how did this game get out of hand? I think Philadelphia's been the best team in the NFC all season long, and I kind of think they win by at least 2 scores.
Wow. Mike Gill, ESPN New Jersey, as well as Believe Network. Mike, I greatly appreciate your time.
Absolutely, guys. Should be a fun game.
Absolutely. Mike Gill, that was fantastic. Take a break. We'll be back to close out the show. You're listening to the Jose Gonzalez Show.
Hey, it's Nick Anderson. Most orchards face many challenges, including insect pressure, disease incidents, and abiotic stressors like heat. Having an almond-wise plan from Helena will ensure that your orchard is ready for anything. Utilize PK is a 032 foliar nutrient system that boosts plant performance. Research shows Utilize PK boosts the production of nitrate reductase, which can mitigate whole rot incidents. Apply Utilize PK with Troubadour to treat navel orangeworm at whole split. To create an almond-wise program, contact your local Helena representative or authorized dealer.
Every January for 6 decades, Fashion Furniture has hosted the single largest furniture clearance sale in Central California. All the best names like Flex Steel, Bassett, Southern Motion, and Michael Nicholas at savings of 20, 30, even 40%. Plus 0% financing on every recliner, sofa, love seat, dining room, office, and youth furniture, and more. One-of-a-kind items up to 50% off. The 63rd annual January clearance at Fashion Furniture across from River Park. There's nothing like it in all of California.
Mike Dermanuel Jr. of Dermanuel Insurance Group, a division of Hub International. World-class insurance, and so much more.
There's price increases coming in a lot of different areas of insurance, and our clients have to know about that in advance and be confident that we're doing everything we can to mitigate that for them.
Dermanuel Insurance Group, a division of Hub International. Learn more at dmig.com, license number 0757776.
Everybody's fighting for the American dream. Well, we're fighting right there with them.
Ed Dina's Auto Center in Dinuba and Ed Dina's Used Car Superstore in Visalia are stocked with the best pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs in the market.
And we never marked up pre-owned prices, so you'll always find great vehicles at great prices.
The most popular brands, the most popular models. 2 stores full of great vehicles. Finding the car you want has never been easier.
Gas-saving hybrids, performance cars, crossover SUVs, mid-sized and full-size trucks.
And we offer financing and extended warranties on everything we sell.
Find the pre-owned car, truck, or SUV you've been looking for and save.
Only at Ed Dina's Auto Center in Dinuba and Ed Dina's Used Car Superstore in Visalia. Open 24 hours a day at eddinasautocenter.com.